stay connected everywhere you go. Fitchburg is on your phone and your tablet and your laptop and TV. Download the app. It's free. Access Fitchburg. This is your city at your fingertips.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Everyone to the Fitchburg Common Council meeting for July 28, 2026. The first thing is to call to the order to the meeting. Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So next is roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Rada
Here.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Here.
Alder Gerhardt.
Here.
Alder Herbst.
Here.
Alder Jutzer.
Here.
Alder Lattisay.
Here.
Alder Lepper.
Here.
Alder Maldonado.
Here.
Alder Regstad.
Here.
You do have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. So next is item number 4 is public appearances for non-agenda items. We have a mayoral proclamation. It's commemorating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. I know that this proclamation is coming late, but since we didn't have a meeting, we didn't have the first meeting in July, so we are doing now in the second meeting. So.
Whereas on July 4th, 2026, the United States of America marked its 250th anniversary, celebrating the semi-quincentennial milestone of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. And
whereas the city of Fitchburg is a welcoming and vibrant community whose strength lies in the diversity of its residents, reflecting a rich tapestry of cultures, backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. And
whereas the city of Fitchburg honors the fundamental American values of equality, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, striving daily to build a welcoming, inclusive, and connected community for all residents. And
whereas local stewardship, community collaboration, and environmental sustainability embodied by our agricultural roots, thriving local markets, and sustainable initiatives strengthen our piece of the American Republic. And
whereas the Wisconsin Historical Society and the statewide America 250 Commission have called on all communities to participate in local history preservation and civic education. And
whereas Fitchburg residents will gather for commemorative programs including America at 250 historical film series and community discussions hosted at the Fitchburg Public Library on Lacey Road. And
whereas the city of Fitchburg will be planting 250 trees throughout the city in 2026 to commemorate the 250th anniversary.
So now, therefore, it is resolved that I, Julia Arata Frata, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, alongside with the member of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim July 4th, 2026, as an American Semi-Quincentennial Celebration Day in the City of Fitchburg, and we encourage all the Fitchburg residents to display the American flag, illuminate homes and buildings in red, white, and blue, join celebration, reflect on our nation's complex history, and work together to cultivate a vibrant, sustainable future for our city and country. This is proclaimed today, July 28th, 2026. Okay. Yes.
Well, I mentioned there's a movie out about early George Washington's life that I saw last night, and if you get a chance, I'd encourage you to see it.
Thank you. So we're going to take a picture. Okay, thank you everyone for participating in the picture. So next we're moving to, I'm going to open a public hearing on council proposed amendment to the 2027-2036 capital improvement plan. So do we have a couple of people here? Yes. So I will call Tony Hartman, who wishes to speak in support of one of the amendments. Okay. Okay, so Tony, you have 3 minutes.
Thanks, Troops. So the reason I work with the Legacy Solar Cooperative is because I was sitting up with you guys 10 years ago, and Erica Klutmeyer, the then sustainability part-time person, had hired Legacy, which consisted of 1.5 people. But I was so inspired by what was happening, and the city did, of course, some wonderful solar projects way back then, that I decided to join forces with Kurt Reinhold, the founder. And I guess the important thing to note is that this cooperative is a statewide organization, and we do a lot of public projects, community solar projects around the state, from schools up in Douglas County to Ashland County to Racine, and just about everywhere in between. I feel like this is almost what our infamous or I should say retired mayor used to call a 2-foot putt, you guys. This one is, you move the money up a year because if you wait, you lose the 30% elective pay, like cash that would come directly back to the city for doing these projects if you wait. I know that our current sustainability specialist has lined up 7 or 8 different locations, potentially wells, the lift station, which I think 5 years ago, Alder Gerhardt, one of our early efforts, put forward $50,000. Everybody voted yes, but at the same time, I think our public works department was imploding. There was one person left. I remember sitting down with Tracy saying, hey, I work with this co-op, we will do all the work. And she said, well, we have to study it, which I hate to hear, because that's the refrain of a lot of people that don't want to do something, they study it. But it was studied, and sure enough, you could easily have a 20 kilowatt array, which is roughly 35 panels out at the lift station, and it would cover most of the cost of the electricity out there. And guess what? You can do the same thing for the new water tower, for the wells. You just need a little bit of space. And that's what we do every day when I go to work, which sometimes is at home, sitting at my computer. I sit down and I figure these things out. This is a 2-foot putt. Legacy Solar Co-op will do the work for you. It might cost you between 5 and 10% of the money you set aside for this, but it is so money well spent. Just ask your staff and the people who I believe said maybe you shouldn't pass this amendment because they don't have time to work on it. Guess what? We still have time to work on it. Alder Gerhardt was not wrong, and neither are Alders Gerhardt or Jetzer this time. Put the money in there. I think, depending on whether I have the numbers right, it amounts to 1/3 to 1/2 of the city's annual budget. And this is a one-time expense with the exception of, 1/3 to 1/2 of 1% of the
Tony, your time is out.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank
all they
you.
want to say, Legacy will do the work, you guys, this one is the 2-foot putt. Thanks.
Thank you, Tony. So next, I will call Patrick Cheney. He wishes to speak, make some comments. Thank you.
Amendment number 10 is to delay the water main by 1 year. This is one part of many parts, and there's no other amendments for Irish Lane. Better to delay the water and sewer to 2035, the last year of the grant that's available, along with the other parts. But pave Irish Lane sooner, as soon as possible, 2027, only since 2026 is not possible. At the Greenfield Master Plan meetings, literally no one wanted water and sewer. That only supports and encourages development nearby. I suggested an alternate plan, which was brought up and discussed at the Committee of the Whole, to delay all the other parts to 2035. Then I revised my idea to repave Irish from Cyene only to West Hill in the easiest and temporary way. then do the whole project of all the parts at the last possible year of the grant, 2035. It's something to consider for next year's amendments. Amendment number 9, no, because it's either $1 million or $2 million on borrowing. When do we ever pay off our borrowing? Find a transportation grant somewhere. Amendment 14, do what residents told you they want. They even gathered a petition. All of you were elected to represent what residents really want, but it shouldn't need a petition to get that across to this council. I will be watching and counting votes from home. Please do a roll call for all the amendments. Any questions?
No. Thank you, Patrick. Anyone else? Okay, David.
David Haight, 5855 Woods Edge Road. So this is kind of in the realm of general comment. So I've been at this 7 years. About 2 years ago, I decided that one of the key issues was the lack of information that you have and that the public has. So over the last 2 years, I spent a very large amount of time. I have a degree in computer science, I have a degree in certain kinds of mathematics optimization. And I collected all the information off the web servers. I built a system that has all the information read into structured formats, put in Postgres databases. I can run all this fancy AI stuff over it. And the predicaments here are perfectly predictable. And the problem is that you don't have any visibility into the consequences of what you're doing. And Mr. Cheney just talked about such things. What is the consequence? You need to take a different approach as a council. Instead of being passive and at the last minute having projects show up, capital or not, you need to have an ongoing process throughout the entire year. And you need to be planning and monitoring and getting real information. For example, when a TIG gets passed, what's the actual ramification on the general fund over the next certain number of years? What about when there's 2 or 3 or 4 stacked up? You need to take a portfolio approach to many of these things. You need to have information. Without that, what you're basically doing is you're foregoing much revenue, collapsed in small periods of time, and that puts a lot of pressure on the general fund. Also, it is certainly not the case, as you can tell by the big building outside, that the development pays for itself. That's absolutely false. If it did, we wouldn't be spending $35 million. Development requires common infrastructure. And when you provide tens of millions of dollars in subsidies to developers and don't collect that dollars as we go forward, what happens is the cash squeeze that we have now. And you're looking at a capital budget that's really starved. So what I am suggesting is that you need to take a different approach, and I'm going to be providing some information. I'm also going to be opening up my site to the general public and providing reports and information on a regular basis as to what the ramifications of different things that are being considered in this city. And that's what's going to be required to get this under control. There's no way of just saying, we're going to cut back and it's going to be good. That doesn't work. Information, that's the key. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone else? Okay, here none. I will close the public hearing at 6:49. So next we move to the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions, comment? Okay. All this in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So next is item 6, is the administrator's report.
Good evening, everyone. A few events of note upcoming. UPS store on Fish Hatchery Road is having a groundbreaking this Thursday at 10 a.m. The next Fitchburg Chamber Biz After Hours event is also this Thursday
at 4:30 p.m., and that event will be held at the Rusty Bee. The comment period, public comment period for the Kids Crossing concepts are open until August 5th at 12 p.m. There is additional information on the city's website on the project and where you can submit any feedback. The Police Community Night Out will be held again this year at McKee Farms Park on August 12th from 5 to 8 p.m. The Movie and Meal event that was programmed for Southdale Park this week that had to be canceled due to the weather will be rescheduled and moved to a date in August. Once that date is finalized, the city staff will be making sure to get that information out to the public. The Wayland Road paved shoulder project and the 2026 sideway replacement project are all anticipated to kick off next month and be completed prior to the end of the construction season. The Bowman Plaza redevelopment project, we're also anticipating that demolition of the existing building will also begin next month. And then finally, 2 weeks from today is the August 11th primary, and in-person absentee voting also started today. The hours for in-person absentee voting are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This week, Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 next week, Monday through Thursday, and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Next Friday. Any questions at all?
I have to always have one. Someone reached out to me and asked what the movie was going to be for the Southdale event. Are we able to publicize that when the updated date is put out there?
No, copyright.
Yes. Thank you.
I was in Parks Commission or in H&I, and they said that they would not be able to do that.
It shall be a surprise, encouraging you to show up to learn. Yes.
What are you gonna?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Oh, you're talking the shared development?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mayor Arata asked for an update on regards to the shared development conversation that's been occurring with the Village of Oregon for that area of southeast Fitchburg, immediately adjacent to the northern village limits. I've been meeting with the Oregon Village Administrator and the Executive Director, Jason Valerius of CARPC, Capital Area Regional Planning Commission. We've been currently working on development of a framework for an intergovernmental agreement that is anticipated to be coming before this body probably within the next 6 to 9 months. And we'll be meeting with city and village staff during the month of September to help continue the development of that framework for that intergovernmental agreement that will be forthcoming. So again, I would anticipate that that'll be forthcoming to this body in the relatively near future with some additional work being done by city staff and village staff.
Okay, thank you, Chad. So Mayor's report, I have a couple of things that I would like to share with you is, as you know, we have our second community listening session for District 2 this coming Thursday, July 30, from 6 to 8 at Hostohochi. So this is another way that we are reaching out to the community to inform about what the city is doing and also listen to the neighbors for concern, ideas, or any other thing that they want to share with us. So, okay, so we are planning to do this with the District 2 elders, Gabriela and Bill. They're going to be part of the listening session. Second, I attended the ribbon cutting for the Chicory Meadow Improvement Park. It was great. A lot of people show up, and I want to say thank you to the Parks Department, to Eric, for all the hard work, and the tennis court and the pickleball court look great. Also, I will continue with my office hours in the month of August. You will see, I don't remember the date, but they're coming on social media. This is another way for the resident to reach out to me. And if they have questions, comments, concerns, they can talk to me directly. Last night, I did a ride along with the with the fire department. I was at Station 2, and I want to say thank you to the fire crew for the conversation, and also and the time that we spent together. We have only 2 calls, so it was quiet until I left. Then last week, I attended the Mayor's Innovation Project Summer Conference for Mayors here in Madison. It was a great opportunity to networking with other mayors from the country. And I want to say thank you to Micah and Gabriela because they came to the conference. So you can, it was great to see what other municipalities are doing, ideas, and also great sessions. If you want to know more about the sessions, you can reach out to me. I can share the information with you. Also, I had the opportunity, the mayor from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, was in the conference, and she came on Saturday afternoon, and I gave her like a tour of the city. We also visited the fire station number 3. I want to say thank you to the fire station number 3 crew for the tour. And also, as you know, Promega dedicate to the public the boardwalk. We had a ceremony, and I want to say thank you again to Promega for this, for building this boardwalk and open to the public. It's a great addition for our park system. I also attended the police demonstration for the new technology. I learned a lot about all the new proposals. We are continue working on the 2027 budget, and also I want to mention that the 2027 budget survey is still open for public until August 31st. And we received 200 soccer balls from FIFA. So I want to say thank you to FIFA for the donation. So those soccer balls will be, some of them they will be donated to a local soccer club, and the rest to the police department for the community night out and recreation department. And finally, I want to say to the people of Menasha and Appleton, my heart and thoughts are with them. I know the 2 mayors, and I cannot believe what they're going through right now. So I want to say to them that we are here for any help that they need. So yeah, it's pretty devastating. I don't know, you saw the videos. Practically, Menasha is destroyed. So I want to say to Austin and Jake, you know, my thoughts are with you, and please reach out if you need any help. So that's it. Okay, so next we are moving to commissions and committee report. Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. Just pulling up my notes. All the resolutions are in the direct referrals, so that will wait a moment, but I can give you an update from the department.
Okay.
Because the process for the comp plan update is getting underway. The kickoff meeting is being scheduled. It may already be scheduled at this point, planning it for around mid-September. There will be a working group, and an application form will be available for anyone that wants to apply to be part of the working group for the comprehensive plan. You must be a resident of Fitchburg, and then you must agree to a time commitment to actually, be present for those meetings. It should be available soon. Do you know if it's available now, Chad?
It is not, to my recollection. I think Deanna and team are still working on getting that up on the web.
Okay, so I believe the council will have it as soon as it's ready, but if someone's interested in is wanting the application, feel free to reach out to us and we can make sure we get you a copy of that application. And then they are working on updating the farmland preservation map, which is coming back to us soon. We made that change with one of the farmland, and they need to update that and bring it back to council. And that's the department report. Resolutions to come.
Thank you. So next we move to the Board of Public Works.
I'll move approval of Resolution R-13226, approving the second amendment to the agreement for subdivision improvements on Lot 2 of CSM 10031 and Lot 2 of CSM 11021. This was postponed from the June 23rd meeting. Board of Public Works has approved.
I'll second the motion.
Finance approved.
Okay, what is this bill?
This is the amendment to our standard subdivision improvement agreement that we have with Sub-Zero that dates back to April of 2016. They were supposed to have all of their work done within 4 years, but Basswood Drive and Budds Drive, this is that intersection that is converted now to a cul-de-sac. That bit is being worked on presently, so that's what this amendment is about. The work is going to be performed by Sub-Zero to do the cul-de-sac. At Basswood Drive needs resurfacing, so they are also going to pave that in order to minimize the number of seams in the road, and the city will reimburse them for their costs.
Okay, any comments, questions? Here none, all those in favor of resolution R-13226 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next one. Oh, that's it? Do you have anything else to mention about Public Works?
I do.
Go ahead.
Our street resurfacing for this year, Payne and Dolan's completed the concrete and asphalt removal. They're starting paving. You've seen some paving already. Sidewalk project starts in August. As Tony mentioned, he talked about Wayland Road. Bike lanes should be done in September. Belmar, the utility work, the paving starting this week. We have 2 teams working on the Tower Hills water main, or they do, and the Tower D, they're painting the inside of that right now. Those are notes I had from Public Works.
Okay, thank you. So next we move to Park Commission.
I would like to introduce resolution R8926, approving the Hastahochi Park rental policy.
Can I clarify as amended by Parks?
As amended by Parks,
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, what is this?
I'll let Eric give an overview of it.
Okay.
Sure. So this was initially heard by Parks Commission at the June meeting. If there were any recommended edits or amendments to that rental policy, it was requested that staff review and legal staff review of those recommended amendments. And then it was reheard at Parks Commission in July. These sections that were added was additional language within the disclaimer notice as well as the indemnification notice. The intent here was to include additional language for inclusivity, also hold the city harmless to any attachments to some of the intent behind some of the meetings that may occur there. So those inclusions are within the disclaimer and indemnification notice.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comment? No? Okay. So all those in favor of resolution R-8926 say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Anything else from Park Commission, Joe?
No, we meet next week.
Okay, thank you. Library Board.
We have, sorry, let me pull up my notes here. If they will load, they didn't load. Can you come back to me in a moment?
Okay. Commission on Aging Well.
Nothing to report at this time.
Resource Conservation Commission.
We met on July 13th. We reviewed the solid waste collection rates. $4 per year proposed increase, that's 1.7%, so that'll go from $236 to $240. That'll use about 28,000 of our fund balance, leaving 29.3% unassigned, so pretty easy increase for next year. Ben presented an overview of proposed updates to the Dane County Water Quality Plan, which is administered by CARPC and encompasses natural resource protection, pollution control, sewer service area planning. So CARPC is updating a bunch of data and maps and key findings. They're incorporating current priorities, integrating insights from recent technical appendices, refreshing fact sheets to clearly communicate key concepts. RCC hosted a plastic recycling event on July 23rd at the library. I was not able to attend that. I don't know if anybody else did.
Oh, you didn't go?
Other obligations. Our food scraps collection is up to about 12,000 pounds since October of 25. There are 338 people registered. We had several sustainability updates from Phil Groupie, including that the level 3 charging station here on Civic Campus should go live later this summer.
Okay, thank you. Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to the library board.
Sorry about that. My notes absolutely disappeared. Main items of note here where we reviewed several policies. There weren't any major changes. That's kind of a once a year we review a couple policies every couple months or so. One of the interesting ones, though, that I did want to point out was the collection management policy, and added a section about books written by or heavily utilizing AI, adding a policy about how we don't want to include those in our collections, and if we find out later that a book has been written by AI,
really?
we are able to remove it from the collection under that.
And how do you
policy.
know?
That's a great question. So it is usually one of those kind of find out kind of retroactively. I guess it's, Wendy was saying it's already happened a couple times with some popular books that they get published and then the publisher learns their AI, or industry professionals are able to determine their AI, and then the publisher will stop publishing them, and then that's kind of how we become aware. Fortunately, this is not an issue that has really reared its head in our library collection yet, but an interesting tidbit of where things are going in the creative arts spaces and wanting to avoid replacing human artists with artificial intelligence. I see Alder Maldonado has his hand up.
This may be outside of your knowledge base, but is there like a reimbursement if we find out that like the publisher sold us an AI book and we have to get rid of it?
That is a great question, and I don't know off the top of my head. I believe we talked about that. I'd have to go back and rewatch the meeting to get an answer.
Okay.
Alder Jetzer?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could just give us an overview of how books generally make it into our collection. You know, like how many does the library bring in versus how many come in based on requests that people make, that sort of thing.
Next month.
Say, you all heard me say my notes disappeared, right? I will have to get back to you on that one as well.
AI ate your notes.
Also, I want to mention that you can find a lot of information in the monthly report from the department. Okay?
The only other item I was going to have was we talked about the success of the Books and Brews event, celebrating the library's 15th birthday, and I believe I saw in my inbox today that there was a grant application for about $5,234. Am I correct in saying that that is the money that was raised from that? So.
No, I think that one is a grant money, isn't it?
It's money being provided by the Friends for that event.
Okay. Well, that's what's in your inboxes.
Okay, thank you. Transportation and Transit Commission.
Switch over to those notes now here. Our last meeting was on July 9th. We had a really interesting presentation from Mark Wilkerson from Bike Fitchburg, kind of looking at the transportation needs in the Agora Pavilion area. There aren't a lot of pedestrian crossings right now, but people kind of just cross there anyway when they're going to events. Talking about should that be something we formalize, even though generally we don't want to have as many mid-block crossings as could be proposed in this area just because of the heavy traffic with the farmers market, with other events. Would this be something that would be worth pursuing? Also talked about whether there may be some appetite for moving the farmers market to the Research Park Drive side of the Agora Pavilion, just to help with some of the traffic-related concerns from that event. So that was kind of an idea that was thrown out there. It would be up to ProMega to look into that, but that was one of the items that came out of that from the commission. We also talked about our draft safety action plan request for proposal. Gave Ross some feedback on that item so that he can come forward with a finalized RFP that we will then review through our regular city approval processes. We got an update on the Greenway Cross and Coho Street roundabout in a box. So the data have shown that it is making an impact in lowering speeds. That being said, there are still some challenges with larger vehicles, buses, plows, et cetera, moving through there. So Public Works is, by now they probably have already painted some additional markings in that area to help clarify what vehicles are supposed to do in there. We also talked about the transportation-related projects in the CIP. And that concludes my TTC report.
Okay, thank you. So next we move to the Community and Economic Development Authority.
I will move approval of Resolution R-12726, approving a land use restriction agreement, or LURA, for properties participating in the Efficiency Navigator program.
Second.
CETA and Finance both approved.
Okay, thank you. What is this?
So do you want to? All right. So for participating in the Efficiency Navigator program, the owners of the properties agreed to keep rent at affordable levels for 5 years. The LURA will add an additional requirement that 5-year rent requirement will stay with the property in the event that the property is sold. So the landlord will sign the agreement, but it will stay with the property for those 5 years. And I just want to extend a thank you to Dan Hardy on CETA, who is a lawyer and helped a ton with drafting this proposal for no cost to the city. So that was extremely helpful, and just want to thank him a lot.
Okay, thank you. Lauren, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, just that the purpose of that is to protect, the assets of the city, and to ensure that the rents remain affordable for that 5-year period. So also for the residents as well. And then this will be a recorded document, again for the 5-year period that will start once the contract is executed. So that would be the start date of the 5-year period.
I have a question. Why 5 years and not 10 years?
Great question. I'll actually have Claire from Sustain Dane kind of share that.
Where is Claire? Oh, over there.
There.
Hi, Claire.
Hello. Nice
Hi.
to see you. Hi. Before we began the Efficiency Navigator program, we spent about a year doing stakeholder interviews, and that included with owners, with residents, with utilities. And part of that process was determining the amount of time compared to the amount of funding that would be received that would seem like a good match for people to participate in the program. So that's how we came to the 5-year number.
Okay.
So I just want to point out, I asked the exact same question at CETA. Alder Gerhardt asked the exact same question at Finance just now, and now you are asking that question here at Council. So I completely agree. Why 5? I think it sounds like from what we heard in Finance, there were something like 8 of 10 properties that were offered this, and none of them even questioned the 5-year requirement, which leads me to believe that it's at least worth exploring a longer term. I don't think that's necessarily something that we need to do this year. This is moving forward right now. We've identified these properties already, but I think we need to certainly consider that in future years of this program if it continues.
No, I agree with that, to have this recourse there, but for me, 5 years is not enough, because this is our affordable property, and then what happened after year 5 or 6, and the landowners are gonna, increase rent, and so how do we protect future tenants? I don't know.
Claire provided an answer to that scenario during the Finance Committee as well. Claire, do you mind reiterating that response?
We check the rents of all properties. Most of them are hundreds of dollars below the fair market rent to begin with. And also because of the location of properties, the condition of the properties, we are not seeing an increase in rent after year 5. There still are other factors that are at play to set the rents at these buildings.
Okay, that one makes sense. Okay.
I'm going to echo what Micah said. I'd be interested in looking at what we could do to increase the LURA. I don't know if that's the investment per unit. Like if we invest a higher level per unit, you have a longer LURA. I would like to know what that would look like.
And what is the average? What is the average investment in a unit?
Yeah, and I think like the overall
do we know?
investment in the property versus also the investment in per unit, I think I'd be interested in those statistics because I think obviously the per unit investment is somewhat relevant. If a duplex versus an 8-unit building is going to be a different cost, and I don't know if you're tracking things like how much utilities these residents are saving. If we hit past the 5-year mark, is there a way for us to track if the rents spike? Like I know that that's a lot of work on your end to track that, but I don't know if there is a plan in place to keep track of those things, whether that's being in touch with the residents or being in touch with the landlords. But I think it would be worthwhile to see if there is I would hope that there wouldn't be a spike, but there is essentially no guarantee. And I would like to look at, before we continue to invest in this program next year, I think we should look at what a potential longer LoRa could look like.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea too that finance brought up about us going back to the first buildings we invested in about 5 years ago. So that could be a really good research component to this, and definitely digging into the data. We keep lots of data, we like data, and doing some maybe interviews too with the past owners about the length of time. So I think there's a lot there, and we'd be happy to explore doing that.
Okay, thank you. Any other question, comments? Okay, here none. All those in favor of resolution R-12726, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Next one.
I'll move approval of resolution R-12826, approving an agreement with Sustain Dane for implementation of the 2026 Efficiency Navigator Program.
Second.
CETA and Finance both approved. So this is approving the actual program for this year. To kind of explain the amount. The amount we're approving is $400,000. There was $185,000 of expenses that were presented at CETA that had already been identified and vetted.
Yes.
And then I believe as of this date, the rest of that money kind of has been identified how it's going to be spent. But this would authorize us to spend the entire $400,000 on these properties. Kind of to piggyback off of what was just said, there was some discussion at CETA. So there was a case study that was presented, and it involved a $50,000 investment, and the savings on that property, the energy efficiency savings on that property was around $1,000 per year, spread over 8 units, which was going to be like essentially around $10 a month per unit. And so there was just some discussion around kind of the value of the investments and like making sure that we're getting, proper value and investing in the right places. I don't think that's a reason not to do these. I just think that this money is one of the things in our affordable housing fund that doesn't replenish itself. It's not a loan program. It doesn't come back in. When we spend this money, it's out the door and it never comes back. And so just as we go forward in future years, I think we're trying to solve a lot of problems with this program. We are solving rent and energy efficiency and climate goals. And sometimes when you're trying to solve 5 problems at once, things start to get expensive and add up. And so it's just something I think we should consider in next year, I guess, when we're going forward with these.
Okay, I have a question. So maybe you mentioned that and I didn't. Why I thought it was $500,000 that we were planning to invest in this phase. Now it's $400,000.
So the $100,000 was for the administration piece, and then this is for the implementation.
Oh, okay. But we already implemented last year. So this is for the second phase implementation.
Correct.
It's $100,000 each time?
Yes.
Okay.
And Claire also has a kind of a short presentation to share about the assessment piece of it.
Okay.
So, as we stated the last time we came to CETA, we had about half of the properties completing their assessments. So Lorene asked me if I could share where we sit with now all of the buildings completing their assessments. We had intakes on 16 buildings, and after doing our interviews and evaluating their data, we moved on to 14 of them that had assessments completed in unit and assessment reports. And from that, We are recommending 12 buildings, which is for 73 units total, and that is for 189 residents, which includes 48 children and 25 seniors that would benefit from the work. As we talked about, there's many different benefits that we're addressing here. In terms of CO2, we're looking at about 57,000 kilograms, which if you convert into miles is the equivalent of driving around the earth 6 times. So annually, that much CO2 would be saved from these improvements. In terms of the utility bills, we're looking at about $10,000 annually reduced. We like to look at that over a 10-year time frame because that's kind of the length of oftentimes the equipment going in, and think about installation goes longer than that, but kind of a 10-year frame is industry standard, so about $100,000 over the 10 years. And then we also want to talk about the health and safety benefits that we're looking at for these buildings. We've identified 8 gas leaks across 3 of the buildings, and those are being addressed, have been addressed. We also are looking at mold situations and if there's lead. Also this year with the air quality, we're thinking a lot about how we can be part of providing better air quality for residents. Last year there were 3 buildings that were able to add cooling to them, and that reduced the ability, or that increased the ability for the residents to be within their homes when it was hot and when there was these poor air quality days. So just thinking about those health and safety elements is really important for the work that we're doing as well. The total amount that we're estimating for this work based on the assessment reports is $410,000. We're now in the process of getting actual contractor quotes. As stated in the contract, we will not go over $400,000, which is what we've done every year in this program. So I'm confident we will stay within budget, and we will just balance which items ultimately will move forward, or how we will stay within budget based on what is recommended.
Claire, where are those properties located? In which part of the city?
We're open up across all of the city. 1 second, I'll just need to see if I jotted that down in my notes. Here we go. All right, we have 5 in Belmar, 3 in Forsyth Downs. Apologize if I'm saying that wrong. 2 in Wildwood South, and 1 each in rural residential Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Leopold.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comments?
I just had a question about the gas leak thing. Like, nobody else found the gas leaks before you all did? So it's been leaking for X amount of time?
Correct. Now, the gas leaks we have found, none of them have been at the level of combustion, but it is a health and safety concern if you have gas that is leaking. This is very common in this program. It's old equipment. You're not testing for this repeatedly, so unless you have someone that's going in and doing the actual testing, it may not be found.
Is there any type of regulatory practice that should be adhered to that where this isn't being found?
Not that I'm aware of. I will talk with our energy engineers as well, but it's
And I don't mean found by you all. I mean found before you go do this testing, since it was a problem before you went and even found it, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. We have not had any regulatory corresponding actions or considerations to date.
Okay.
Gabriela, and then Micah, do you want to? Okay.
So I assume for the properties we've done previously and for these properties, we're doing focus on energy rebates and any federal government rebates. Have we received any of those for prior year projects, and what happens to those funds?
So the focus on energy rebates are on actual contractor quote, so it's taken off before we pay them. For the federal rebates, we did last year, and we are not doing any at this point for Fitchburg buildings. We have 2 buildings in Madison that we began work with in 2025 that have gone through the process to now be approved for federal rebates. I see some potential with our current buildings that we can get them started to go through the process, but they would not be able to be complete, and we don't have any there aren't any current projects that I would apply them to. But if we wanted to move forward with like air source heat pumps, for instance, in some of the buildings that have boilers, that would be kind of starting to get them through the process now, which can take between 4 to 6 months to get approved.
Okay, so we have not been able to take advantage of any federal rebates at this point, just
No.
given the nature of the projects. And then for Focus on Energy, just to summarize what you said, the original bid from the contractors includes the discount because of Focus on Energy? And do they give the
Correct.
full value of
So
the Focus on Energy discount as a reduction in the?
Yes, it's listed. Yep, listed on each invoice itself.
Thank you.
Mike.
I just want
And
to
I have the total number from 2025, but not at my fingertips right now.
I just make one more comment because I feel like I sounded like I was being a little critical of some of this. I love this program, and I just want to make sure that that we can help as many properties in the city as we can for the limited amount of money that we have. So I'm just wanted to point that out.
Claire, can you share about the energy grant that we applied for in conjunction with Middleton and Madison?
Yeah, so Madison, Middleton, and Fitchburg, we all jointly applied for a grant from the Public Service Commission, Office of Energy Innovation. This grant would allow us to work in 2 and 3 unit buildings and focus really on the electrification work, which can be more costly, oftentimes, does fall off the list. Jointly applied, the goal would be that we would work on whichever community had buildings that were most applicable. Some of these buildings that I mentioned right now in our cohort, I think would be really good candidates for them. And we'll find out at the end of the fall if we have been selected for the grant. And it's about $1 million.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Here none. All those in favor of resolution R-12826 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Bye. Okay, so next we are moving to the other resolution. And this is a 2/3 vote, okay? So we need roll call.
I'll move approval of resolution R-14426, amending the 2026 CETA budget in business insert.
Second.
CETA and finance both approved, and I apologize. I stepped in and gave the presentations when Lorraine was up here, but I'm going to ask Mike to come up here and just give his thing on this because he'll do it better than I am. So sorry.
Thank you, Mike. This is a request for a budget amendment of $25,000 from the unrestricted room tax dollars to go to public information and education to fund our in-business insert that we would like to do once we finish the Forward Fitchburg City in Motion Economic Development Update. I sent you an email that's got a link to the 3 previous historical versions of the insert that we did many years ago. We were going to do one after the last City in Motion update, and then we ran into COVID. So we had one designed, and then we never moved forward with it. But in that link that I sent you, there's a proposal from In Business Magazine to do in what we're calling an insert, but we're going to change it. Instead of doing a one-time insert of 4 pages, we're going to do 4 one-page inserts because the repetition, my understanding from people that are experts in that world, reinforces kind of our positioning and messaging for the city of Fitchburg. So on the back end of the City in Motion project with Vanderwall, there will be a conceptual design of kind of the piece that then we will put in those one-page inserts with In Business. So we want to kind of put Fitchburg front and center out there once we've got our updated economic development positioning and strategy finalized later this year. And as Misty would remind me, this is a one-time project
Can you explain
moving the dollars for this purpose.
For the people that they don't know, what is room tax and why we are doing this?
Sure. The room tax dollars are collected from the overnight stays at our Fitchburg hotel properties and are to be used for tourism, promotion, and marketing-related purposes. So those are the source of the dollars for us to promote to market Fitchburg.
and why we are doing this insert? You know,
Sure,
to
yeah.
attract, you know, businesses?
Yeah,
or-
to promote to market Fitchburg and to attract new businesses and new prospects to Fitchburg, not only major employers, but also retail, commercial, restaurants, and maybe even other hotel properties as we continue to grow and develop throughout the city of Fitchburg.
Okay, thank you. Any question, comment? Logan?
Mike, is the plan to have the same ad 4 times, or is it to have 4 different, but they see the name City of Fitchburg 4 times, and that's what drives the repetition?
That's the repetition there. Okay. But it'll have different content for each of the 4. And then the piece that is going to be designed by Vanderwall will also be a hard copy piece that we'll be able to use at our Fitchburg marketing packets, and we'll also make it available as a PDF on our website as well. And it's more than just the in-print version. We're also, in the in-business proposal, there's a email marketing campaign that we can target to decision makers and CEOs. So that's another added benefit, as well as a web presence for a period of time.
And everything for $25,000.
Not to exceed $25,000. Yeah, we're good shoppers. We usually get good value, and Amy from In Business has really put together, I think, a value-added proposal for us, which we appreciate.
Any other question, comment? Okay, here none. All those in favor of resolution? Oh, it's roll call, sorry. Is that?
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Danso Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herps.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. So next is Ag and Rural Affairs Committee. Any update?
We met, but all of our items are later on in the direct referrals.
Okay, thank you. Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission.
So we have our next meeting on August 5th, but I do want to pass it off to Alder Jetser because he's a part of Bike Fitchburg and has an update.
Bike Fitchburg had a meeting last night in Oregon. Bike Fitchburg is attempting to get the equivalent of the Bike and Ped Commission at the village level in Oregon, as well as getting a community bike and ped advocacy group similar to Bike Fitchburg to come out in Oregon. And last night, 2 projects were kind of pitched to the audience. One of them, at least one of them, is in the CIP right now, which is the extension of the Oregon Rotary Trail. It ends right now at Fish Hatchery Road, and a relatively short-term vision is to get that extended over to Purcell Road, and then next time Purcell Road is resurfaced, that some on-street bike facilities would be added so that the Rotary Trail connects all the way up with the Badger State Trail. And then the second project is a longer term, which would be to get a path along the rail line leading north out of the village, and then hooking up with the path along Sain Road, which will eventually head all the way up, beyond McCoy Road, and then ideally over the Beltline via the Perry Street reconnection. So, yeah, those 2 projects were discussed, and then again the idea that, hey, the village really ought to have an advocacy group and a government-sponsored group as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, where we are. EMS Commission.
Yep, we met last week. We sworn 2 new paramedic interns, which is what we approved from funding a couple meetings back. And then one of the previous paramedic interns was graduating and sworn in as a paramedic. So that was cool to see. We approved the new ambulance response rates for 2027. So last year they did not increase their rates at all, and this year they did a very modest 3% increase, which was on par with the other municipalities. And then they also had to make some adjustments for how Medicare is refunding mileage and things of that nature. So we did approve that, and then we also approved the 2027 budget that will come to this council, which includes some expansion in the ambulance coverage for certain days of the week for the part-time program, and then also the permanent inclusion of that second intern, since that's been such a successful program for them. And then a couple other things was that I got to interact with Chief Anderson and a couple of the other paramedics at the picnic that they covered on their awesome e-bikes that Epic paid for. So that was fun. And also they had just had a paramedic who retired after 25 years of service in June. So that was cool to honor him as well. That's what I have.
Okay, thank you. Healthy Neighborhood Advisory Committee.
Sure. We met on July 8th. Couple highlights. These are really important for council members to hear. So we did get an update about the awardees that and kind of what they've done with the funding from 2025. We also had a pretty robust discussion about the grant material packet as it is, and had a discussion about the future of the program, which there is discussion of potentially putting the grant application process on hold for a year in order to revamp it and make it more comprehensive, because previously a lot of the applicants met all the criteria, so a lot of the decisions were made kind of based on feeling. So really putting a more comprehensive process together would require basically taking off a year. So we're going to actually have a vote on that next week as a committee, which will eventually come to council for a vote. So it was a pretty robust discussion. I encourage anybody to be able to watch it just to get a sense of kind of what the thought of the members are on that issue. So the other thing I wanted to mention is there's a pretty long series of events that are going to be coming up, and I just wanted to highlight those because it's really important, if possible, for folks to be able to show up. So just a couple of those events that are going to be happening on August 10th, there will be Allied Parks Alive event, 5 to 7 p.m. in Allied Park in Madison. On August 11th, there will be a Leopold Parks Alive in Aldo Leopold Park, also in Madison. On August 20th, there will be a clothing / back to school event hosted by the River Food Pantry, which is an H&I grantee in Hostahoche from 4 to 6 p.m. And actually, the mayor and I had a chance to attend a event in Hostahoche that was hosted by Rooted. They gave out food. They also gave out their produce. And it was really good to see the community out for that event. So just encourage anybody to attend these events, support our H&I work. Jessica's also been having this kind of fun little game where residents of every given neighborhood list their priorities for grants in their H&I neighborhood. So the committee is doing really great work and is really being thoughtful about kind of how to best address the needs of the community in a way that the community wants. So that's my update. Again, we're meeting next week, either on Tuesday or Wednesday. We're still figuring out the date.
Thank you, Joe. Housing Advisory Committee.
We will meet next on August 10th, and it will not be a regular meeting. It will be a tour of several properties in the city.
Thank you. Landmark Preservation Commission.
No report.
Tree Advisory Committee.
No report. We won't meet, but we are, the Friends of Parks are looking into finding a way to fund the intern position, through donations.
Okay.
Could I add one thing to that? Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, I heard from Suisse today, and she was looking for folks to come out and plant some and do some planting in Southdale. I mean, in Swan Creek, sorry. So if folks are interested, I plan to go out either. We'll probably do it like this weekend, or if we can't do it this weekend, she does have some guests in town. We're going to find a day, so I'll share with folks whatever day she can come up with where we can go out and do some more planting in that area.
Can you send an email to all of us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just adding to that, I know Alder Dantzler went out and did one. Sue's just been doing some great work around that, and she invited me and my daughter out to plant some native plants as well in Wildwood South Park. So just shout out to Sue because she's been doing some like really heavy legwork.
Absolutely. And Alder Herbst was there too. I can't forget that one. And he let me know my attire. I need to wear long sleeves and pants next time. So I was the only person out there in shorts and a t-shirt. I didn't know. No, I didn't. I didn't know. I'm like, okay, I'll make sure I get some pants and long sleeves. But no, I appreciate that.
Just one mention about the Friends of the Fitchburg Parks too. The website doesn't say Wisconsin anywhere on it. And I was worried that I was sharing the wrong one when I shared it recently. It is there, apparently Fitchburg, Massachusetts does not have a Friends of the Fitchburg Parks, which we confirmed with the mayor last week. So it's the right one. But at some point, it would be nice if the website added Wisconsin there.
Thank you, Alder Garrett.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. And I will say it will be nice if eventually this group of people come to Common Council to do a presentation of what they're doing, Dave. Because I would like to know more about these Friends of the Park.
I made a note here, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Community and Equity Advisory Committee.
No report for right now, but could I go back to Agent Will for a second? I had a few notes that I didn't give. Is that okay? It's just a few things.
So which committee?
Agent Will?
Yes.
All right. Just a couple updates from Jill is that there are continuing discussions on the department restructure and how that is related to the vision for the entire department with the new additions being added. The senior center is having a busy summer and they're averaging around 280 participants per day. So things are picking up there. Homelessness still remains a top challenge for the senior center and the case manager working with their clients. And then lastly, as Administrator Brecklin already stated, the Southdale movie that was canceled for Monday due to the heat will be rescheduled for August 31st.
Oh, thank you.
Can I add to Commission Agent Well as well? Sorry. The senior center staff actually invited the co-directors of Unidos, they're a domestic violence organization that serves immigrants, to speak to their men's group about kind of issues affecting immigrant communities. So I just want to give acknowledgement to them for their work and also to Jill, for constantly putting these important issues at the forefront of the work that the senior center does.
Thank you. Okay, any report from other commission and committees?
I have one from MPO Policy Board. We met July 1st. Several things, but the main one of interest to Fitchburg is that the County Highway MM / Rimrock Road pavement replacement project from McCoy to the Beltline is getting a little extra federal funding and a corresponding decrease in the local portion, which in this case means Dane County. We also amended the active transportation plan that the MPO puts out with some clarifying language around e-devices. And my favorite phrase that was casually dropped in the conversation was 55 mile per hour unicycle.
What, 55? Really?
Really. You can get one of those mono wheel things. And they go highway speeds.
I have received a couple of emails from people complaining about here in McKee Farm Park on the bike path. Some of those people, I don't know what type they are. I don't know if they are e-bikes or that type that the speed is concerned.
Yes, there's a proliferation of things that look a bit like bicycles but are actually high-speed motorcycles with perhaps decorative pedals, but sometimes no pedals at all.
Yeah, and just adding to that, we had this discussion, I think I might have mentioned it in Bike and Ped Commission, that there's sort of this class of vehicles essentially that are unregulated right now. So it's not recommended that municipalities make policy around these. It should be a statewide effort. So one of our BPC members works for the state of Wisconsin and is involved in transportation there, Andy Potts. So he kind of gave us a breakdown of like where legislation is going. I think ultimately the best thing that we can do is push our state representatives to consider drafting legislation to regulate whatever the hell they're called. But I also want to highlight that the city of Verona police department has a really good TikTok video about kind of reducing the use of these vehicles and essentially letting folks know that if you use them, like they'll enforce against it. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else, Bill?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are in item 9, and then this is the standing committees report, and we will start with the finance committee.
All right, we'll start with approval of resolution R14526, approving contract renewal with U.S. Signal.
Second.
Finance did approve this, and this is a 3-year renewal with our data center provider, which is located in the city. The rate is either the same as what it was or a very modest increase.
Okay, any question, comment? All those in favor of approving resolution R-14526, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
And just a couple notes from finance. We did receive the annual reports for all of the TIDs, and then there was also a joint review board meeting in which they went through all of them. So if you're interested in any information about the TIDs, you can find it there. And then, well, I'll do the easy one first. The payroll provider switch happened just recently, and so staff's next paycheck will be in the new system. And after that, they're going to move to the HR system and moving into that. The changeover for the police to stop using paper timesheets is still in process. They're still working out some changes to the scheduling software. And then once that's in place in the next couple of pay periods, they'll be able to switch over fully to the new system. And then Misty gave us some information on the debt issuance that's going to happen in the next couple months. And then there's going to be essentially what will come to council is they will bring the debt issuance, and then we will approve a certain set of parameters in which Misty can then issue the debt as long as the debt falls within those parameters. I guess previously we had to issue the debt on the day of a council meeting, and so it's just whatever the interest rate was on that date we just got, and this will allow her to have a little flexibility as long as things fall within that set. So we will approve the parameters when she brings it to council in one of the next couple of meetings, and then she will be able to then issue that debt. And that's all I have from finance.
Thank you. Personnel committee?
No updates since the last time we've met, unless Administrator Brecklin has an
Can
update.
you provide an update with the arbitration?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, the arbitrator in the contract negotiation between the city and Local 311, representing the fire department union, issued a ruling. I shared an email summarizing the city's offer as well as the arbitrator's ruling with the Common Council. And the arbitrator in their ruling selected the city's final amended offer coming out of that arbitration hearing. So what that means is city staff is in the process of updating the current contract with the fire union to reflect the arbitrator's selection of the city's offer, as well as any other language that had been previously agreed upon. Once the city staff has confirmed, we believe the appropriate updates have been made to reflect all of those items. We'll share that with representatives of Local 311 for them to confirm that we've included everything in there. And then we anticipate that it'll be coming to Common Council for approval next month. And after approval, Finance will be working on calculating retroactive back pay to the bargaining unit members and getting those compensation details paid out.
And could we just reiterate the fact that selecting that offer during arbitration that was put forth was a fair and offer that the city, given our financial situation, could afford?
The city's offer that was selected was a 3% cost of living adjustment in each of the 3 years, which would be 25, 26, and 27. The city's offer also included, as I mentioned, retroactive pay to the beginning of the contract period, which was January 1 of 2025. And it also included the addition of a 7-year wage step, which, if my recollection is correct, was 1% higher than the 4-year step that currently exists. And then that led to a corresponding adjustment in the existing 10-year wage step to be 2% above the 7-year wage step that was just implemented.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else for personnel? No? Okay, so public safety and human services.
Yes, so we have 2 operator licenses needing special attention. Tracy, do we need to motion to approve? Okay, then I will begin by making a motion to approve the operator license for Benjamin Boyd.
Second.
Okay. With this, there was the individual had an OWI within the last 3 years, was able to get through all of the requirements that they need to do to have a license, works in an environment that they feel will be supportive to avoiding similar instances in the future. There were no concerns raised at Public Safety and Human Services about this, granting this license.
Okay, any question, comment? All those in favor of approving the operator license for Benjamin Boyd, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next one.
All right, I will move approval of the operator license for Carrie Childress.
Second.
And similar situation here. The facts are very similar. No concerns raised from Public Safety, Human Services. This individual works for the Thirsty Goat.
Thank you. Any question, comment? Here none. All those in favor of approving the operator license for Carrie Childress, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
And one other quick item. This is the first Public Safety Human Services meeting where we had our updated consent agenda to include some of the sound permits. So no longer requiring folks who are reserving parks and having sound, Bluetooth speakers, et cetera, to come to a meeting to answer questions that usually are pretty straightforward. So staff are reviewing that through regular review processes. And seemed like it worked well today. Keep you posted.
Thank you. Item number 10, new business. We have a couple of direct referral because we didn't have our first meeting in July. So this one is...
I'll start with this one, if I may. An update from staff on this. The improvements related to the subdivision improvement agreement have not fully been completed yet.
Okay.
So staff is recommending postponement to August 11th meeting.
Okay. All those in favor of postponing?
Did we?
Oh, I need a motion.
Motion to delay to August 11th?
Second.
Okay.
I'll take 2 minutes at the moment.
Okay, because we are postponing this date. Okay.
I understand.
Okay, yeah, I can give you 2 minutes.
I just wanted to, it's related to this, but since it's being postponed, I'll just talk about Carpec. So I want to correct a misconception. So in response to the Northeast Neighborhood controversy in 2015, a conservative legislator introduced a piece of legislation that removed Carpec's authority over the Dane County Water Quality Plan and vested it only in the DNR. And in addition to that, all criteria except the potential for the water quality, the demonstrable evidence that water quality would be maintained within the area and also cumulatively is the only criteria that the DNR can use to approve an expansion of the urban service area. That's it, period. I'll send out the statute. Now, obviously, CARPEC can augment the Dane County Water Quality Plan with other planning information that certainly would be useful, and hopefully, cities like Fitchburg can use that. But that can't be used as a basis of a decision. It's water quality only, and I'll send out that information just so that everybody gets clear about that. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so all those, I move approval of postponing Resolution R-14926 to August 11 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Sorry. Okay, so next is
I think the rest are Plan Commission.
a Plan Commission. Okay, go ahead, Gabriela.
I'll move approval of Resolution R-15726, approving certified survey map request CS 265526 by Peter Bazianos, agent for Consamias Ranch LLC, to approve a certified survey map in order to create 2 lots from 2 existing lots on properties associated with 5927 and 5949 Adams Road.
Second.
Plan Commission approved.
Ag and Rural approved.
So this is a farm off of Adams Road. The next item is also related to this, but this is for the certified survey map. It is basically the applicant is working with staff to allow basically a selling of the lot so that there can be a horse boarding facility on it. So there will be a new lot that will be rezoned in the next resolution to AS, small lot agriculture, for a horse boarding facility, and an apartment to go along with that. There was also a conditional use associated with that to allow that. And then the remaining is going to, part of the parcel will be become AX. A current farm residence will stay on that lot, and then there will be farmland also behind it. Both of them front the street with how it was redone. And basically it's just facilitating a sale of the land to create a horse boarding facility is essentially what it is.
Alder, just a brief correction. I think it's pronounced Consamias.
Consamias, thank you.
Peter Bazianos is online if we have any other question for him. Okay, anything else? Any question, comment? Do you understand what we're doing here? Okay. Okay, so all those in favor of resolution 15726 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next one.
Move approval of ordinance 2026-022, approving rezone request RZCU 265426 by Peter Bazianos, agent for Consamias Ranch, I said it wrong again, LLC, to rezone property from AX, exclusive agriculture, to AS, small lot agriculture, and rezone property from RR, rural residential, to A. $657.26 by Lisa Steinhauer, agent for Frostwood Farms 3, to approve a certified survey map in order to create 3 lots from 2 existing lots on property associated with 5898 Adams Road.
Second.
Plan approved.
Eggenroll approved.
So this is going to sound like deja vu, but this is also to create it's a certified survey map, and then the next one will be a rezone to allow for the current lender to parcel off to sell to a new owner for a horse operations and a home. So basically, again, it's just like a repositioning of the lots. In order to facilitate this, there are going to be 3 new lots. One will be low-density residential, one will be small lot agriculture, and one will be AX, exclusive agriculture.
Lisa, do you want to add anything else? No? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Oh, and I guess a couple notes that
Okay.
there's going to be no new driveways onto Adams Road. The easement's going to share access to the road, so everyone's going to share that same driveway. For the existing farm, no crops will be impacted. There are no environmental concerns, and there's a small waiver for lot size for slightly larger than what's recommended, but within reasonable amounts.
Okay, any question, comments? No? Okay. So all those in favor of resolution R-15826, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
I'll move approval of ordinance 2026-023, approving rezone request RZ 265626 by Lisa Steinhauer, agent for Frostwood Farms 3, to rezone property from AX, exclusive agriculture, to RL, low-density residential, and AS, small lot agriculture, on property associated with 5898 Adams Road.
Second.
Plan Commission approved.
Eggenroll approved.
And this is the rezone associated with the project that I just outlined.
Any question, comments? It's very similar to the other one. Here none, all those in favor of ordinance 2026-023, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
I'll move approval of resolution R-15926, approving preliminary plat request PP 265826 by Christopher Ghosh, agent for 9 Springs Hills, to approve the preliminary plat of syncopation to create 45 parcels, including 39 buildable lots, on property described as Lot 3 of CSM 3535 and Lots 1 and 2 of CSM 3598 on County Highway MM.
Second.
Plan Commission did approve.
Okay, what is this?
We already approved the PDD GIP for this, but they needed a new preliminary plat associated with that approval. There's not a ton of changes, but there is 1 fewer parcel and therefore 1 fewer buildable lot as a result of this change. Also, there's changes to the public street here. Gadd Street is going to be a publicly dedicated street. It will eventually link down to Lacey Road through another property. The alignment and the layout is important so that can be made possible, and that's why it's being dedicated publicly, and also why this preliminary plat being redone is so important. Basically, I think in the end result is going to be the same number of housing units, very similar to what we talked about before. They will vacate Laniello Court as part of that, and there's going to be a multi-use path that goes through the area that will connect up with that underpass that's being worked on currently. Or not worked on, but that we have a grant for that is under design currently. And just for reference, the goal is to have a final approval sometime in mid-September, with the hope that they'll break ground in the fall with infrastructure. They would love, the next things we're going to see are a final plat, a PDD SIP, and then finally an ADR for specific projects on a rolling basis.
Okay, Christopher Ghosh is here to answer question, and then a couple of people are online. Mark Fairchild, the developer, Aaron Clark, and Michael Huffman. They are all present to answer questions. So, yeah. And we have another.
David Hayes, 5855 was Edge Road. So I have here the cover page from City of Fitchburg TDML Stormwater Quality Management Update, which essentially says that we have a $50 million unfunded backlog of pollution and degradation of our water resources that has happened as a result of development within the city of Fitchburg. The standards, every time you put in a new subdivision that meets the standards, water quality degrades. So we're going the opposite way, and obviously in the capital budget this year, we're not getting any progress on the $50 million unfunded liability. So my objection is that the MS4 permit says that we must be making progress on this. And the stormwater layout for the syncopation project takes us in the wrong direction, and that is my objection to this. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will just add in regards to the TMDL related to the report that Mr. Haight is referencing. The city does participate in the Yahara Winds entity, if you will, which is a number of municipalities in Dane County, largely served by the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District. I think the city's annual contribution to that organization is right around $100,000. Which all the municipalities pool their resources together to do projects related to phosphorus reduction in the area of the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District. So the city does obviously participate and takes efforts where it certainly can in order to make the most impact through its membership in this particular entity.
And also we joined the Renew the Blue too this year, so to work on that. Okay, so do you want to add anything else to the project? Christopher? Come to the microphone.
So the primary reason we're before you now is just to get the switch from the private road, which is where we started, to public gas street, which then will go south, like we talked about. So that was the primary issue. So appreciate everyone's
thank you.
time on
Mark,
this.
do you want to add anything else to the project? No? Okay.
No, pretty straightforward here. Thank you, though.
Okay, any other question, comments?
I've got a question.
Yes.
I noticed if you look at page 27 of 37 or page 327 of the council packet, all of the roads have travel lanes that are like 11.5 to 13 feet wide, and that seems excessive for a residential neighborhood. I thought our standard was now like 10 feet. Can you have any comments on that?
Well, so some of those have on-street parking. So
right, I'm talking just the travel lanes.
Just the travel lanes. We wanted to keep it comfortable in there, and we were sort of working backwards from the right of way. We have some areas where the bike path is going through, so we just thought it was a comfortable width for the emergency service vehicles and for traffic.
We didn't discuss this. It wasn't an issue in Plan Commission.
I'm just wondering if our transportation engineer has looked at this and what comments he might have had.
Yeah, I can't specifically speak to any sorts of comments, but obviously transportation is looped into any sort of development proposal and has the ability to offer comment. I will note in the drawing or the rendering that's up on your screen, the only public roadway associated with this development is Gadd Street here. The other roadways within the development are private and will not be city streets.
Any other question, comments? Okay. Tim is on, I don't know, is Tim on? Is online? Maybe he knows this? Oh, no.
I'm sure they review every development project. It wasn't flat.
Okay. Yes, we didn't see any issue in Plan Commission either, so no. Okay, all those in favor of resolution R-15926 say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next one.
I'll move approval of ordinance 2026-024, approving rezone request RZ 265926 by Dwayne Helwig, agent for Grace Hospice Holdings, Inc., to rezone property from PDD SIP Plan Development District Specific Implementation Plan to PDD SIP Plan Development District Specific Implementation Plan to allow for an assisted living and memory care facility at 5395 East Sherrill Parkway along East Sherrill Parkway and Fahey Glen.
Second.
Plan Commission approved. This is the Grace Dementia Village project. Also, as a side note, I've asked planning staff to start nicknaming projects and starting to put that nickname at the top of every resolution related to that so that these aren't the most confusing things ever. So hopefully we can start that going forward, because this would be a great one to just put a Grace Dementia Village at the top every single time. But anyway, this is the reason why it's the same zoning is because it's just an acceleration of the PDD SIP. Last time we saw phase 1, which was actually a redo of the hospice building. This is phase 2, which is the actual dementia village that has been talked a lot about. A quick overview, there's a lot more detail in the packet, but it's 64 units of memory care in 8 homes. There's community and living spaces. There's the specific exterior building materials and colors are not going to be finalized until the bid process, but we'll get zoning admin approval as part of that process. So we did do an ADR as well in Plan Commission, but we'll see those exact final materials, just like the concept designs. There's also going to be like courtyards with familiar Wisconsin landscapes, farm, Oak Savanna, up north, and Door County are the themes. They need some dark sky compliance changes to the lighting, but they're working with that with staff. And they did, look at the trees. There are 73 trees being removed for the phase 2 construction. They are protecting some of the edges of the building, and they are also adding native trees to the plan as part of the landscaping plan. And then, so phase 1 is planning to be finished in October. And then phase 2 is hoping to start, which is the actual dementia village, is hoping to start this fall. The goal would be an August 2027 finish date. That's all.
Thank you. And also want to mention that Aaron Clark from representing Community Living Solution Anna Grace, and Michael Huffman representing Huffman Kill Anna Grace are online. I'm sorry, guy, I thought you were from the previous project, but you are representing this one. So if we have any question, they can answer some question for you. Any question, comment about this project? Logan.
I couldn't quite tell from the packet here. Are the Dementia Village houses, I don't want to say fully self-contained, but is there a perimeter enclosure such that somebody who's suffering from dementia could not wander away from the facility?
Okay, who is there? What is Michael of Aaron? Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Sorry, this is Aaron Klug. There will be security fencing around the entire perimeter, residential style, that will be almost hidden from the inside with landscape, but it will be secure when you're inside the dementia village.
Okay. And then will the grocery portion here, is that exclusive to the residents there, or could that be something that a community amenity?
That could be a community of anyone that is at a Grace. So family members could use it, staff could use it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question, comment? No? Okay. All those in favor of ordinance 2026-024, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are in item 11, and this is the finished business. So this is finance.
So do I?
So you need to move.
Do I move the resolution? That's how we start this? Okay.
Yeah.
I move approval of resolution R13726, adopting the 2027 to 2036 capital improvement plan.
Second.
Okay, so Misty, I assume that Misty is going to provide some direction here. Yes or no?
She's
coming. Okay.
All right, guys. Yep.
Okay.
I can. So tonight we are adopting the CIP. So included out on the city's website is the amendment packet that includes all of the amendments that were proposed by council members. along with any staff memos that were included for additional context and a summary of all of the amendments and the impact in total costs by levy, borrowing, and operating costs. Tonight, what we'll do is we'll go one by one through them. Council is able to discuss them as much as you would like. You can also make amendments to the amendments. So if you wanted to change somehow what's being proposed, you're welcome to within that same CIP project number. But no new amendments can come from the floor because ultimately we want to make sure that the public and everyone is aware of what's going to be discussed tonight. So again, we'll go one by one through the amendments. At the end, we will adopt the CIP. And then this is a planning document. So that first year of the plan, as decided tonight, will go into the first draft of the budget that goes to the mayor in a few weeks. And if she wants to change anything from the adopted CIP to her proposed budget, we do have to specifically call that out in the document, again, so that everybody's aware about what is being changed. So there's no like levy limits that we have to hit tonight or any target that we absolutely have to hit tonight, like there would be during the budget process. But in general, you want it to be more or less what you think net new construction and levy limits would be, just that you are setting yourself for success come budget time.
Any question for Misty? Okay, so one thing that I want to mention is because we have several CIP and to be efficient tonight, so we can leave early, because you have the opportunity to read this for 2 weeks. So let's be concise, simple, and discuss the amendment, and you know, that's it. Maybe I don't want to say this, but maybe I can ask 2 times that you can speak for each amendment. Kind of follow the budget protocol. Okay. Do you agree with that? Huh?
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find out, won't we?
I agree that everybody else will be bound by those rules.
Okay. At least you're going to try. Okay. Okay, so...
so the first one's mine, I just start...
yeah, you
okay.
have to start with the first one and, you know...
All right. I'll move approval of amendment number 1 to CIP number 1024, the website, to reclassify from capital to operating.
Second.
Okay, what is this?
So we have a project this year to redo the website. We're spending $100,000 on it, and within the CIP item, there's a replacement fund for this. To me, a website is kind of a living, breathing thing that should be updated over time as things are needed to it, rather than something that is replaced and then left to sit for 5 years and then replaced again. So my proposal is not to eliminate the $20,000, but to make it available to the IT department on a year-to-year basis for what they would need to do continuous updates to the website. And so I'm not expecting them to use exactly $20,000 every year, but they can decide what they need on a year-to-year basis and put that into their budget proposal. My guess is next year they will not request that much since we're redoing the whole website this year, and then they can decide what they need in the future for that.
Okay, any question, comments about this amendment? Oh, go ahead.
Just a question about so with the allotted amount, the years that they don't need the capital, what happens to the excess funds? Does they roll over from year to year, or where do those excess go if they need it? And then if they do have access, can they go over some years of 20,000 and use that, or what do you anticipate, or what do you anticipate that looking like?
Yeah, I mean, my guess, my thoughts is that they would have that available to them. I guess my thoughts are updates to the website in any aspect would just be kind of rolled into operating. So yeah, I mean, if they needed to request $10,000 a year, that would be evaluated as part of their overall budget proposal. If they needed to request $40,000, that would also be evaluated and like prioritized with other items. It just wouldn't be we would not be saving money to redo the website once on a certain time frame.
Any question? Logan.
It says the website redesign in 2026. Is that work ongoing? Has that already been completed?
Currently working with our communications department to identify a timeline and proposed implementation plan. We anticipate that largely this work will be completed during 2027.
So then do we have, if the work will be completed in 27, are we planning to use, to the best of our currently available knowledge, are we planning to use in-house resources for this, or is this something we want to revisit in 27?
We anticipate using outside resources for this project. The funding has already been authorized for 2026 through the budget process, so it's currently available to be utilized.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question, comments? Here none, so roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jutser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next one.
I will move approval of amendment number 2 for the CIP project 1038 solar investment to accelerate, repurpose, and add to the project.
Second.
So this, as is stated in the description, 2027 is the last year we can get these 30% direct pay credits. We've got $100,000 in this CIP project for 2028, which is currently the verbiage in there says 50% for a solar panel over the parking lot at Civic Campus and 50% for repairs. So I'm proposing to move at least 50,000 of that to 2027 and then add another 100,000. So we could do approximately 3 projects of 20 kilowatts, which is the easiest streamlined process for interconnection with MG&E. And these projects work towards our goal of renewable electricity for the municipality, as well as meaningful action towards our sustainability plan. There is a staff note in there. The staff is not recommending we move forward. I guess I would like some clarification because it says there's a separate amendment in process to move the $100,000, basically send $20,000 to each of the existing 5 installations. And then there's another section that says there's $40,000 in unfunded solar repair needs. I'm not seeing that that's on top of the $100,000 that's allocated in 2028. Somebody could provide clarification because it seems like if I'm asking for $50,000 and we've identified $40,000 in repairs, then fine, that's the other half of those funds that are earmarked for 2028.
But I want to clarify something because last year, I don't know if you remember, when we went through the 2026 budget, we reallocate $100,000 to repairs because we are having a lot of issue with the repair in the library and here, and we needed the money because we don't have the money in the budget to use that money to repair. And that one was approved in the 2026 budget, and we have that discussion. So this is what I was surprised to see this amendment coming forward. I don't know, that one was.
So, I get. Does that mean like the money's not available?
Well, there was $100,000 for 2026 and $100,000 for 2028. What is your question specifically?
I don't remember, maybe Misty can clarify what we did last year, but I think we reallocate the money from, I don't remember which was the account that it was original to the repair of solar. And this was done through the 2026
I can
budget.
hop in quick.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so originally in the CIP, we had money in there to install additional facilities through the CIP and the budget process for 2026. we said we still need that money for solar, but it needs to be for capital repairs in our existing equipment rather than continuing to invest in solar. We needed to take care of what we had first. And so that money was repurposed for 26. The staff memo then talks about a budget amendment that we are working on to actually put some of that money to use. There's quite a bit of repairs needed. And then the other kind of piece of nuance with this one, if I may, is the money that's included, the 50,000 that's moving up is grant funds. So that is not actual money that is had right now. It's that levy money that we need to use for capital repairs. But then the amendment proposes adding an additional levy amount for 2027 that is not currently included in anything. So it's an additional investment.
So, I want to understand this. You want to add another $100,000 from tax levy in 2027 for this project?
Well, $100,000, and whether that comes from the levy or we use, interest on temporary investments or some of the money that was set aside in the 2026 budget for the police facility that will not be used, or the additional transit funding that was supposed to go towards expansion of our routes that will not take place this year. I feel like we've got $100,000, and again, it's, with that $100,000, we can get $130,000 worth of stuff.
Okay. Oh, no, because I am confused. I'm fine, whatever you guys want to do. With the source, it's a capital property tax levy, but you say that we can use other source of revenue, that is, yeah.
Yeah, I purposely didn't put a source of revenue in there, assuming that our finance department could come up with something.
Okay. And ultimately has to be decided during the budget process, I think, how that's going to functionally work.
Okay.
All they're allowed to say have to.
Okay. Mike.
So if I'm understanding this right, the repairs are being made with 2026 budget dollars, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this would be new money. And that was going to be my question as well, is that I think the 2028 funds that we're in here now were from TID closure, I think, and then this is levy. But if we're going to work that out in the budget process, that's fine. This seems like a great use of one-time money. Yeah. So.
I would just bring up a couple of points. As noted in the memo, we are experiencing a rather significant failure rate of inverters on our existing solar facilities, which is creating a significant budgetary impact. I think in particular, the library currently has a failed inverter with no operating money available to repair that. And I think we've only replaced about a third to one half of the overall inverters throughout all of our solar arrays.
Administrator Breckman, what's an inverter? I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, sure. I am not going to begin to profess any sort of expertise or knowledge on this, and if anybody on Common Council
I can take it if
has,
you like.
feel free, go for it. I'm not even going to attempt to butcher it.
So the solar panel output is direct current. The sun shines in there and it knocks electrons loose, and there's this constant flow of current, right? It's direct current. So it's just a one-way flow. An inverter takes that direct current and transforms it into 60 hertz alternating current. So typically the way this works is you've got one or more panels hooked up to an inverter, and it'll create the AC output that everything runs on. So you might have 50 panels, and all of that might be funneled through 5 inverters, something like that. There's other technologies where each panel will get a microinverter, there's different configurations. But that's the point, is it takes the direct current and turns it into alternating current.
Is this a common failure rate? Is this an issue with sourcing where we should be looking elsewhere for solar suppliers?
So typically the solar panels themselves will be operating at like 85% of the original rating for 25 or 30 years. Inverters are typically, they'll typically have a life of 12 to 15 years. And I think we've had issues with our particular inverters. They were purchased from Huawei, which then became a foreign entity of concern. And so when they failed, the manufacturer was unable to provide us with any meaningful remediation. And I don't know about, we've got 5 solar installations, and I don't know if they were all from the same manufacturer or not.
Yeah, the bulk of the solar installation happened in 2017, so we're not even seeing 10 years out of some of this equipment right now. And I will say we are experiencing, in my opinion, a disproportionate amount of staff time being needed in order to stay on top of these repairs. We are admittedly struggling with the vendor for this particular solar arrays. We don't have a lot of options in the vendor space on who to utilize for repairs, particularly to bring people up to speed on the system. So I do have some concerns about moving forward with adding more to the system based upon what we're currently experiencing. And I think that also there appears to be a few, if any, really viable sites right now to really capitalize on the payback. And certainly staff is supportive of the goals that the Common Council have set for utilizing renewable energy. But I think the larger concern is maintaining what we have, and based upon our other opportunities that are out there, is the payback there. It seems to be in initial preliminary assessments, things like well houses and lift stations, based upon the available square footage that could be utilized right now. There isn't a significant amount of payback that's going to come from these sorts of installations. And I will also add that, Mr. Hartman and his cooperative have graciously offered to assist the city, but depending upon dollar amounts on projects, certainly public bidding requirements are going to be possibly required. So it may not be as simple as just, contracting with, a local cooperative here to get some of this stuff done.
Dave and Joe, okay, go Dave.
I'm not opposed to solar, but we are not a power company, and this is not, we're not in our lane here. This is the problem, that power companies have spare parts, have people that know how to do this, manage it, and you see these large fields. They have professionals that do nothing but manage those. I would much rather we purchase solar capacity from MG&E or those developers. Then we don't have to worry about hail or inverter failures, any of that. Let's stay with our core competency. You put this on a well, that well draw, it's a drop in the bucket compared to how much power the well uses. And I just think we'd be better off buying the solar capacity to meet our sustainability goals.
Joe.
I mean, it seems like we couldn't have anticipated this company going under, but who would be the company that we'd potentially go, or is that, like the manufacturer, not the installer?
Yeah, we've been working with the current vendor and installer, and have been sourcing, I believe, either U.S. or European-made inverters, which do have a longer track record of reliability in the industry. So we are certainly trying to make adjustments when the failures occur to something that we anticipate will be longer lasting, and also not getting caught up in some of those politically related matters that Huawei got caught up in.
Would that drive the price up if it's domestic from what a foreign purchase would be?
I'm uncertain. I would anticipate probably, but I don't have information to directly support that.
This is for the clarify.
Can I just ask one clarifying question? So I think I get the amendment put forth by Alder Jesser and Alder Gerhardt. Administrator Brecklin, could you just clarify, like staff says, and I don't want you to speak for people, but staff's recommendation is no, but like no and then like what? So just so I understand like what we're really looking at in terms of voting purposes?
Yeah. So staff does not recommend approval largely because we feel we need to maintain what we currently have. We have failures that need to be addressed. Capacity to add more to the system is going to need us to reprioritize things that we're currently working on in order to focus our attention to a new solar implementation because of the time constraints that are associated with any sort of federal tax credits. And then there is concern from staff about the actual return on any future investments based upon the sizes of the arrays, based upon either roof availability and or availability of land adjacent to where the deployment would be, and that ability to really have a positive impact on the cost associated with what it's trying to offset. A well is a good example. Lift stations are good examples. Those buildings do not have large roofs with which to put a significant amount of solar capacity on those. They would require a standalone array that's ground mounted, which certainly is feasible. I think also one of the other considerations that's out there is using the lift station or well in Terra Bessa as examples. Right now there isn't a ground array there, and while the neighborhood very likely could be supportive of a ground array going up, it is another consideration that would have to be navigated in this process if we were to put a ground array adjacent to a residential neighborhood, for instance.
I have a question. Can you move this project like 2030, to keep it in the CIP, because I think this.
Well, the reason I want it in 27 is to take advantage of the 30% direct pay credits.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Okay.
So I got these numbers, the $50,000 per 20 kilowatt installation from conversations with Tony Hartman.
Okay.
And he's, you heard him, he's confident that several projects could be done within the fiscal year, or within the calendar year, I should say.
And if I can glom onto that, because Tony Hartman explained to me the way MG&E calculates solar power is advantageous to a city of Fitchburg, because it basically just it's not like we're getting pennies on the dollar for it to go back into the grid, even if we're not pulling from the lift station or the well at that very moment. It's basically subtracting it off our bill as a whole. So it's like our whole entire energy bill is being considered in terms of the amount of power we're putting onto the grid. So it's really advantageous for us as a municipality. And even if we're not actively pulling energy from the lift station, we're still getting credit for that solar power that's coming onto the grid. And that's really just unique to how MG&E calculates it.
Okay, Logan.
So given the high rate of failure that we've had with this, and we have, according to the staff estimate here, about $40,000 in unfunded current repair needs. What happens if we have apparently more squirrel damage, or and we move forward with this? Do we have other money we can pull from for future repairs, or would moving forward with this amendment potentially jeopardize our ability to maintain the existing system if we were to fully maximize and go for 3 20 kilowatt projects to take full advantage of the tax credits?
It's difficult to answer that. I mean, right now, there's approximately $100,000 that has been allocated to repair of capital infrastructure related to solar. So $40,000 is going to be requested to be allocated to existing needs. That's on top of, a few years ago, there was, when this settlement came through on the Huawei inverters, I think we spent, close to $20,000 just on City Hall and library. So these things, unfortunately, the labor cost is not cheap for them to come in and diagnose what issues are, based upon our current history and the fact that, we haven't fully replaced all of the inverters. Our experience has been that we're likely to continue to experience the current rate of repairs with what we have.
I'll just say, I'll wrap up, Mike, that is what concerns me more than anything, because being on the library board and seeing monthly the library's utility bills and the number of times that Wendy has talked about the solar inverters and the amount of time, staff time in the library alone that is going toward that is not insignificant. I just am concerned that if we put too much into the new system, we can't maintain what we have. I guess, I don't know if anyone would be willing to entertain kind of meeting in the middle on this, and somebody maybe can help me spitball some of the numbers here, but
I was going to propose reducing it to 60,000, because then that would cover the 40,000 needed for repairs that's unfunded right now.
But I thought we had 100,000 allocated for repairs.
Yeah.
So there is money allocated for repairs.
Just functionally to meet in the middle. That was what I was going to think, was to reduce it to 60,000.
We need clarity. So there's
The memo was confusing.
there's 100,000 in the 2026 budget. There's $40,000 identified here. Is that part of the 100, or is that is part of the 100?
That is part of the 100, yes.
So okay.
So we have another 60,000 allocated for repairs that has not yet been identified.
Exactly.
Okay. So we have 100,000 for repairs done.
So essentially, you can ignore that bit of the staff memo, and then, it's a...
Meeting in the middle would reduce the 60 to 30. That would be what the middle would.
So where does this, it says staff estimates approximately 40,000 in unfunded solar repair needs. So where is that coming from then, if I'm missing something?
Yeah, so this would be coming from the $100,000 that was allocated in the 2026 budget to solar array capital repairs.
So it's funded, it's not unfunded.
It's just not allocated to this specific projects.
Okay,
for
I
repairs.
understand.
Yep. Which is why there's a forthcoming budget amendment to specifically allocate it to these repairs.
So last year, we basically made the intention to use that money for repairs, and we will then officially approve that.
But this is all money that I'm not talking about.
Yes, I totally agree. Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
This is the confusion here. This is another 100,000 additional that you are asking.
Correct.
Okay, that one is, okay. On this, you want the 100,000 to find the source with one-time money with the interest earned?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
One-time non-levy money would be excellent.
Yes, okay. Misty, go ahead. Do you have any question or comment?
I was just going to clarify, the 100,000 that you're talking about for 2026, 50,000 of that was TID closure money and 50,000 of that was grant money, which is not actually eligible for this program. So it's really only $50,000 of cash that we have available for these capital repairs.
No, I know, but they are talking about an additional $100,000. This is what is the confusion. The new money.
Yep, this would be
new money.
New cash. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everyone understand that part?
I would say the CIP is a planning document.
Exactly.
It is not an allocation of resources. So I support this because I obviously there's things to be done, and I think the city should hire somebody, whether that's Legacy or somebody else. We could do a bidding process for it. Midwest Solar, I work for Habitat. They run all of our admin for all of our solar work that we do on homes. Midwest would be another one you could bid out to and find out what they could help with. Get somebody to manage this on our behalf and fix it. If this $100,000 goes into this investment and we end up using some of that for repairs, great. Like maybe we should, having more allocated for it. Obviously, there's steps to get through, and I don't think we should cut out levy capacity for this. But there are other sources of money, and so I just say we keep it in the plan so that we can move towards that future. Obviously, there are barriers to getting there, but I think we should engage some experts to help us make those determinations, and then have good information about how much money, what the payback period would be. We would actually have that information if we hired someone to help us with that, instead of just making assumptions and not knowing the information.
Okay, so I think the other point to clarify, if you want to do this, is the source in the first 5 years for the 27 that one, the source should be changed, isn't it? It shouldn't be capital levy. It shouldn't be levy. It should be other source.
Correct. Yes.
Because this is confusing.
Yeah, I apologize for not catching that. It was flagged as capital property tax levy in 2027. And as stated previously, I'm hoping we can find non-levy money, one-time funds.
Okay. Okay, so everyone understand what we're doing here? No, you already talked 2 times.
I talked once. I only talked once.
You asked you 2 questions.
Can you just clarify like what we're,
Okay.
one more time?
Clarify what we're doing.
In terms of like, you say like if we keep it in here, like this, if a vote of yes means X, a vote of no mean, yeah.
Well, if you vote yes to this, because you support this amendment and you want this project to move forward with an additional $100,000 that is going to come from other sources, not from levy.
Yeah, the way I understand it is we're basically voting on adding $100,000 next year of one-time funds,
Yeah.
which I assume that'll just be changed in the budget process to one-time funds in 2027. Is that?
So I'm basically asking what he just said, is his assumption correct?
Yeah, this is what it is. Yeah.
Do we need to formally amend this to reflect that?
I don't know. Do we need to change there the source of the? I don't know. What is?
I think it would be helpful just to do that, is just to
Okay.
go ahead
Okay.
and make an amendment to
Okay.
direct the funding source.
I move to clarify the funding source based on Alder Jetzer's comments.
Just to clarify, meaning that it's non-levy funding sources.
Correct, sir.
Yes, thank you.
But I have another. I am confused.
Wait, second.
1 second. This is for Misty because I am.
Too late.
I am confused. I want to understand the first 5 years, Misty. In 2028, there is $100,000, and then as identifying the plan as amend the 50. I am confused with all this number. I cannot follow this number.
Yep. So happy to address that. First,
Okay.
just we'll need to clarify the amendment a little bit more. So just saying one-time funds is not a category that's available to me. I'll need you to specifically identify which one-time funds you want it to be, or what funding source specifically you want it to be, if not property tax levy. So we'll need to address that. And then as far as the money, so for 2028, the current CIP includes $50,000 of TID closure money and $50,000 of grant money. The $50,000 of TID closure money was repurposed to capital repairs, is definitely going to be put to use and is not touched by Alder Jetzer's amendment.
Okay.
Alder Jetzer's amendment does take the $50,000 of grant funding from 2028, moves that up to 2027, and then how it's currently drafted is it applies another $100,000 of levy money to complete those projects.
So at some point earlier, I did mention interest on temporary investments. We're currently, $360,000 over the amount budgeted, and that's only through the end of May. So that is a potential source. The mayor had set aside $500,000 for the police services facility. Not all of that is used this year, so that's another potential. And then there was $230,000 additional dollars for transit, anticipating the extension of routes 65 and 75. That's also not going to be used this year. So if we can use one or more of those as sources for this $100,000, is that acceptable?
The previous money just came from TID closure. Can we just say, because this can all be changed in the budget process, right? Like where we pull this money from. So can we just say TID closure? Because that's where the previous money was from, and we can work it out in the budget process.
Money in the TID closure. I don't know. Okay, so we need to vote on this.
Do I need to amend my amendment?
Yes, okay. Please, we need to move on with it.
Okay, so I move to amend that the funding source be changed to TID closure funds in absence of knowledge of further information.
But could we get Misty to weigh in on this?
Yeah, because I want to know if there is more money in teeth closure, isn't it? I don't know the balance of those accounts.
Yep, so there's a couple of questions that we're talking about. So one is there money in the TID closure fund? I don't have a good handle on that right now, but last I checked, we only had not $100,000 available. So that would be something that's not quite a good match, but as both Alder Lattice and Alder Gerhardt mentioned, that is something that we could address through the operating budget process. The other kind of side of this coin is there were a few other one-time sources of money that was budgeted but maybe not being put to use in 2026 that you may want to do instead. If that's the case, then this shouldn't be a CIP project or a CIP amendment. It should be a 2026 budget amendment resolution because you're using 26 budgeted funds for it. Anything in the CIP 27 and forward really should be new projects and those funding sources.
I might be more confused than I was earlier. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that if I propose using the interest on temporary investments in excess of what you budgeted for this year, those funds would roll over to the general fund. If we were to use those funds for solar projects in 2027, would that be a CIP amendment or would that be a budget amendment for next year or this year?
The best process, because you're moving things around, would be to do a 2026 budget amendment to repurpose it to capital in 2026, and then those funds could be rolled over as capital funds into 2027.
And then you lose the tax credit.
Well, no, we would spend it in 2027.
Okay.
And so the projects need to be in service by December 31st of 2027 to qualify for the tax credits or the direct pay. So
I would say, why do you move it to 2020? Oh, no, it has to be in 27. Okay, you already told me. Okay, decided what you want to do. You have 2 seconds.
So after this hour and a half of discussion, I guess I'll withdraw this amendment, and with the understanding that we should all be anticipating a 2026 budget amendment in the near future.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, that's it. That one is a clean way to go. Okay.
You need a second? You don't.
So do we need to approve this?
I don't think it needs to be.
Okay.
But we got to vote on the removal, no?
No.
No.
Okay, what is next?
Well, now that we got that, I'm just going to get started on this one. I'll move approval of amendment number 3, CIP number 2125, police mobile and portable radios, transfer fund balance to CIP number 9999.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to talk, this is a set of 4 amendments. I'm going to talk about all of them. If this one, I'm going to have the whole discussion here, is my plan. If this passes, I expect you to pass the other 3. Let's just put it that way.
So you're saying all 4999 are the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I sent an email to everyone. I'm going to briefly outline what I'm proposing just for the public. These 3 CIP funds currently hold $850,000 for purchases that won't occur until 2033 and 2034. Those items are all now eligible for debt financing, so I am proposing to use $750,000 of that existing balance over the next 10 years to reduce pressure on the levy rather than leave it in those accounts until those purchases occur. So my intent for that levy capacity would be to use to address the existing public safety staffing needs that we have in the city. I understand and I completely acknowledge that this creates a structural deficit in 2037. And as a general rule, I am in complete agreement that we should avoid those whenever possible. I also think we have to make policy choices on this council, and there has to be a line somewhere. So I would never propose spending this fund balance in 1 year, because that would be insane. And I think that if I propose spending it over 50 years, you would all say, fine, we'll make it up in 50 years. So that means there has to be a line somewhere, And the question is where that line is and what makes the most sense for the city. I chose 10 years because it's one full CIP cycle, and I think that that is responsible. So the trade-off for me is, does this money sit here in reserve for 7 years in order to reduce borrowing costs in 2033? Or do they reduce levy pressure over the next decade when we have public safety staffing issues right now? We're going to need long-term solutions, and two things are going to happen. Like, things are going to stay the same, and we're going to end up going to public safety referendum or implementing fees to cover these charges. If that's the case, this will be handled that way. If things don't stay the same and the legislature changes and we get more funding for the city, then that will also address this. But I think 10 years gives us a runway to support our public safety staffing now and also then address these challenges over the next 10 years. And so I think that is a responsible use of this, and that we are capable of, over the next 10 years, planning to make up that deficit of $75,000. I'm happy to answer questions, and I will accept the decision of the council. Please don't vote this down so that it just makes me withdraw the other four and we don't have to talk about them, and so it saves us time. So happy to answer any questions, because I know I made this complicated, and I apologize for that.
Okay. Any question, comments?
I'd like Misty, if you don't mind, Misty, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you explain this for members of the public who are watching, what these four amendments do? And then I don't want to speak for you, all they're allowed to say, so please correct me if I'm wrong, if you want to add anything, that they're also then tied to another amendment, correct?
Yes, so basically the three amendments on the three CIP items that have fund balances just dump those fund balances into the ERIP account. It doesn't need to be that account. Like I said in my email to people, we could just as easily add this to the ambulance replacement fund and reduce the ambulance replacement fund by $75,000 over the next 10 years. That would have the exact same effect as what it is I am proposing. I chose the ERIP account because it just has a line item that directly affects the levy capacity. So,
right, and we do know that the ERIP expenditure restraint funding that the city is getting is declining, and we are likely to fall out of the qualification for that funding. Misty, correct me if I'm wrong, we have been supplementing past ERIP funding levels or ERIP payments to the city with general fund, and we have had identified a strategy to begin to reduce the city's use of general fund to keep that money available for for capital projects. Do you mind talking a bit about what we had been working on and how we had reduced to that?
Can I just make one comment on that quickly? So what I'm proposing is not changing the ERIP program at all. It is adding $750,000 to ERIP, and it is taking out $750,000 over 10 years. So I'm not proposing to change any planning or use or spend down of the ERIP account over those 10 years. In addition, I'm actually dumping $850,000 into the ERIP account and not taking out any interest. So $100,000 plus another $150,000 of interest over that 10 years will go towards helping the ERIP account as we try to wind that down. So I just wanted to make that statement first before. But Missy, I'm happy to let you go.
Sure. So I think the ERIP account is the place to kind of to put that money, and I do appreciate the perspective that mechanically you could have chosen a different option, but it does make sense to put it in that CIP 9999 because that is where our big structural deficit for the CRIP already is housed. And so 2026 is the first year, I believe, where we actually are using fund balance to supplement our declining ERIP funds. We had been up to 650. We should have gone down the year before, but they had a law change, so we were held harmless for there. So this was the first year, or maybe last year, where we actually did use fund balance to help ourselves phase off of that really large structural deficit. And so 650,000 is what the total amount was. In the mayor's proposed CIP, it dropped down to 550,000. So it was a really good faith effort to demonstrate that we were going to be phasing ourselves off of this large structural deficit. So putting that money there does make sense. Personally, I think the money should go there and should help absorb the existing structural deficit that we already have, rather than creating further of a structural deficit, but recognize that that's a policy decision that you all get to make.
I want to understand how we are creating more structural deficit, because I follow the logic that Micah presented, and I want to understand where we are creating more structural deficit here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we are creating a structural deficit in 2037.
2037.
In 2037
yeah.
of $75,000.
Okay.
That is what I am proposing.
Okay.
Yes.
But you're also proposing that we use some of the $75K per year to add public safety staff, right?
Yes, that is my intention for the use of this money as it is added to the levy, is for public safety staffing.
And I was thinking that might be Misty's concern.
So, and then my intention is essentially that gives us, so we are facing these issues now, and we have to solve them in next year's budget and over the next 10 years. But $75,000 a year isn't going to solve every problem we have, but it will give us a part of a runway to give us time to solve these problems. I don't want to be in a situation where it's January again and we're talking about this fee and that referendum and this referendum, so that because we're facing, an immediate financial issue. I think this gives us a runway to balance that over the next 10 years.
I just want to clarify that we're all talking on the same public safety staffing plane, if you will. The mayor has directed staff to identify funding for 26 that could be utilized for a budget amendment that would add 2 firefighters, and to also identify levy capacity through existing levy capacity or through fees or other revenue increases in order to fund those 2 firefighters in the 2027 operating budget and beyond. Staff has been working on that. We believe we have a path there. So I just want to confirm that there's nothing else out there from a staffing perspective that staff is currently unaware of that we're trying to utilize this money for.
There's not. No. Okay. But that is my intention for this money.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I support these 4 amendments. It's 4, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, just double checking. I think it's a clever use of the money. I understand why it makes staff uncomfortable, but I think a structural deficit 10 years down the line, I feel good about our ability to figure out how to fill that gap and prepare for that eventuality, especially when you actually have some potential leeway in the fund in the long run to even make it go longer than that. But obviously we're only in a 10-year plan, so we can't look at farther than 10 years. But I think it's clever. We kind of need to get creative if we're going to get through this period of time, and hopefully circumstances will change and we will be in a different position, but I like it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Logan.
How much money do we usually get, and I guess this is a question for either Misty or Chad, in net new construction, just ballpark every year? I thought it was like $750,000 or so based on the past.
Yeah.
But so what I'm getting at is the $75,000 structural deficit 10 years from now being a known quantity could be something that when preparing the 2037 budget, whoever the unfortunate souls are who are sitting in these chairs would know, not likely, but they would know that in advance and would just know that we can't add 1 new staff or something that would otherwise be proposed in that.
And if you read the letter that I put in the CIP, there is a paragraph that says that eventually we need to discuss this, you know what I mean? And we need to decide what to do, because we are kicking this to the future, but maybe this is for another conversation of how to, what are the things that we need to stop doing or delay or not doing to free up more, more capacity in future budget. that one is another conversation, but yeah, it's around, what it was, last year was $767,000 in capacity for 2.9%, something like that?
Yeah, we had, I think, 2.6% last year. We're estimating
2.6.
right now, based upon the net new construction, which will be confirmed here in a couple of weeks by the Department of Revenue. I think it's roughly 2.45% in net new construction, which will yield approximately $675,000 in additional levy capacity. And just for reference, typically speaking, in order to maintain existing benefit levels and provide a 2% cost of living adjustment to non-represented staff, as well as fulfill our contractual obligations to our police and fire unions, which both have 3% cost of living adjustments. We estimate the cost of that is $1 million. So we are likely to start every operating budget with an operating budget deficit in order to maintain existing benefit and cost of living adjustments that are typically planned. The reality of the situation is that both staff and the Common Council are going to have to make difficult decisions, probably much sooner than 10 years, to be honest with you. These things are coming home to roost sooner rather than later.
And the other thing that we can take a look is a replacement fund too, because that one is hitting the budget pretty hard too, like $2.5 million. And if we need to, this is a decision that we need to decide soon, if we want to invest in people or we want to invest in capital. Okay.
I was just going to ask to Chad and Misty, you already outlined part of it, but is the full extent of our opportunity cost of moving forward with this amendment just the cost of living adjustments, or are there others as well?
No, this is not affecting anything.
Well, he was saying that if we move forward with this, we're going to be starting in the like the red, basically for the cost.
It happened last year. Yeah, it happened last year.
So that's not what he's saying.
So this will not directly impact what I just said.
Okay.
This will add to it in a period of time.
In the period of time.
Before 10 years.
No. It will add to it in 10 years if not addressed. But what I'm saying is, in order to address the annual ongoing budget shortfall from just a personnel standpoint, those decisions are going to need to be made sooner than 10 years in order to address that situation where every year we're starting with an operating budget deficit based upon estimated and confirmed cost with cost of living adjustments and benefits.
And this is I want to tell you, I have been in other councils where the previous mayor didn't provide any COLA adjustment, you know what I mean? Because there was no money. Or we need to look other option about our benefit, you know what I mean? So there is a lot of things that we will need to discuss maybe.
Yeah, but we're a little off topic in that Micah's amendments creates
exactly.
$75,000 of levy capacity that is not allocated. It would be allocated in the budget process. So it actually creates levy capacity that could, in theory, be used to cover a COLA increase or add staff. That's determined in the budget process. This creates $75,000 of levy
This
capacity.
is helpful over 10 years to the budget, and then we will have to make up a deficit 10 years from now will be when you have to deal with the $75,000. But yeah.
Okay, so everyone understand what we're doing here? Okay, so we're going to do roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
If you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, if you have a question, ask me.
I don't have any more questions. I was just thinking. Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Aye.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mayor, I have a motion. I'd like to consider amendments 6, 7, and 13 next.
Second.
Okay, what is 6?
Thank you.
What is?
It's Micah's other 3.
Micah can move them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll move amendment number 6, CIP number 2229, Air Light Rehab Vehicle, transfer fund balance to CIP number 9999.
Second.
Oh, 6, okay, can you explain?
This is the second of the fund balances that would be transferred into from what we just discussed.
This one. This one is its number.
Number 6, 7, and 13.
Ah, they don't have number here. Oh, here is 6. Okay, I can see. Okay, where are it? Okay. So, it's the same procedure, like. Okay, roll call, please.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, I'll move amendment number 7, CIP number 2265, fire portable mobile radios, transfer fund balance to CIP number 9999.
Second.
This is the third of the fund balances that will move into the account.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And I'll move approval of amendment number 13, CIP number 9999, expend restraint incentive program, ERIP aid, increase use of fund balance.
Second.
This is what would adjust the levy capacity of that $75,000 a year.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, so that's it. So now we are on number 4. Thank you, Micah. Okay. Logan.
I will move approval of amendment number 4, which is for project 2132 additional K-9 unit. And
Second.
thank you. So this is a pretty quick clerical amendment for those who were at the Special Finance Committee meeting. It's essentially removing some operating costs, the staff costs, supplies, materials, and maintenance items from calendar years 2028 and 2029 because we do not anticipate acquiring a second K-9 unit until the year 2030.
So this is practically cleaning up some of the...
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Any question, comment about this? Okay. Where is... Oh, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
What is the next one? 5. Logan. is
All right,
first.
I will move approval of amendment number 5 for project number 2141, Police Facility Building Systems.
Second.
All right, this amendment would reduce the replacement fund for the police services facility to more closely align with building system replacement funds for other city facilities. Currently, there is a $200,000 a year value in for 2027 with an inflationary increase each year. I am proposing with this amendment removing or lowering that figure to $50,000 a year, which would be more in line with other building replacement, building system replacement funds. For example, for the 2 fire stations, each of those are about $17,000 in 2027. And the city campus building, which is the largest, is $62,000. The staff memo notes that part of the reason that this large value is being held is to preserve the levy capacity for unknown IT expenditures, which since the building has not opened yet, we don't have a full picture of. So I would fully welcome if somebody felt called to introduce an amendment to reduce this figure. I'm happy to entertain somewhere in the middle. I did want to call out in response to the staff memo that the $200,000 figure is set at 0.5% of the original $40 million facility budget. Since the facility came in significantly under that, around $31 million, applying that same figure would put a replacement fund at around $155,000. I also, and I sent this all to the folks up here the other day, there are some items on the known equipment replacement items, so that's the quarter that is specifically identified versus the 3 quarters that is to be specifically identified. 2 of the items are listed at replacement costs of $400,000 each, and given the inflation rate and rising technology costs, by the time we get to these 2 items in 15 to 20 years to replace them, we may be able to fund them via borrowing as well. So I will leave it there, and I don't know if staff want to add anything? Or?
I have a question for Misty because someone asked me that question today or yesterday, and I was confused. You know, when we allocated $500,000 for the operational costs of the police facility, I assume that we include there some technology expenses, isn't it? Like an annual subscription or all of that. Is that correct to say?
That would all be included in this $200,000.
No, but I am talking the $500,000 that we allocated how much it's going to cost to operate the police facility. Are we including technology expenses there too?
So that $500,000 was comprised of $200,000 of true operating budget, so utilities, toilet paper, right? All the actual operating costs to run the facility. $100,000 for a new custodian that would provide services directly for that facility, and then this $200,000 capital placeholder. So that was how that $500,000 was calculated.
Okay.
Again, just as a placeholder, because we don't know really until we're in the facility and the project's designed and built and ready to go. By the time we actually know what is all included in those.
But that one, we are adding that in the operational cost already, the $500,000 that we need to keep every year. So I am confused.
So $300,000 of it is already in the operating budget. So included in the 26 budget was that new custodian. So that $100,000, and it's more than that, but that round figures, that $100,000 is already in the 26 budget and put to work. The $200,000 for operating costs is in the 2026 budget there and ready for us so that we know that we can operate the building when it comes. And then the $200,000 for capital is included in this CIP project last year, as well as the proposal for 2027. So yes, that full $500,000 is identified already in the 2026 budget in those big kind of buckets.
Okay. So, okay, Micah, go ahead.
So if you look, the IT costs that were specified in the staff memo, if you take the median, it's $107,000. Say $100,000. I 100% support moving this photovoltaic system and the generator to debt financing. I think right now what we are asking, we are issuing debt in the next 2 months to pay for this police station. And so we are asking the current residents of the city to, over the next 20 years, pay back the debt to build the police station and to pay for a photovoltaic system and a generator. And then we are asking them to pay for a second one over the next 20 years to replace this equipment in 20 years. So we are asking the current residents of Fitchburg to buy 2 sets of equipment for the police station over the next 20 years. For something that large and that expensive, in 20 years, when this needs to be replaced, we should ask the residents of years 20 through 40 of Fitchburg that are going to make use of that police station and make use of those facilities to pay for the replacement of those large items. I think for smaller items, it makes perfect sense. We should be replacing those items. We should be funding those. But for these 2 items, so I'll let this discussion go, but fully expect there to be an amendment to move those 2 items to debt financing. I'll see what other people think. The one other comment I would just have is I think everything in here, the IT equipment has life from anywhere from like 5 to 10 years, but a lot of this equipment has life, the HVAC equipment and stuff has 15, 20, 30 years. I think we can manage starting these replacement funds after the building is open and we know what the full list of equipment is and we know how much it costs and we know what the replacement's going to be. I don't necessarily think that we need to be starting replacement funds while the building is still under construction and allocating money to those when we don't even know the full list of equipment. I don't think we would be financially irresponsible to wait until this building opens, identify a list of equipment, and have started this fund in 2028. And so I think just like best practice going forward, I feel like maybe that's something we could look at. But I'll listen to others.
I would just respectfully add, as one of the folks who was presenting informational sessions during the referendum that asked for $500,000 in operating costs associated with this project, that there was a fair amount of criticism that the council moved forward without identifying that $500,000. So I understand your position, but I just also want to share my experience in those listening sessions.
I completely appreciate that because I was, a resident in those listening sessions and not being spoken to, so I appreciate that perspective.
Okay, so you're right. Okay, so I want to understand your reasoning. You will say that for the photovoltaic system, I don't know how to say it, the $400,000 and the generator, that
I think those should be moved to debt financing and the 46.
because we are going to replace that in 15 or 20 years,
Yes.
so, you know.
And I think and Alder Reichs had made this point as well. So I think that if I were making an amendment, I would reduce the replacement fund by $46,667. But I also take your point as well as kind of like the rest of it's just kind of up in the air as to what is included in that. So I'll see what other people have to say before.
What is that to be? Oh, the 147,000 is what? The to be okay. We don't know what it is yet.
I mean, based on the staff memo, 100,000 is IT equipment.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any question, comment? What do you think about this? Please.
Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, this is a planning document, right? And we don't know. So I'm not sure that it will remain at $50,000 in future years, because I think that's going to have to be determined. I agree with Micah's assessment that certain items that are of a certain size should probably be planned to be debt financed decades in the future, which would naturally reduce it. But I feel like we're going to have to get to a point where they're going to decide, the staff is going to have to decide, and we hopefully will know by next year's budget cycle what the actual replacement fund and a reasonable amount should be. So in the short term, and also we're not going to have a full year of even operation of the police facility in 2027. Like it's not even going to open until the spring, and it will be a brand spanking new building at that point. So
I also want to. If we reduce this drastically, we are going to free that time in the levy we can incorporate staffing.
Yes.
This is what the purpose with all of this?
Yes. Similar to Alder Lattice's amendments, trying to free up levy capacity specifically to address some of the concerns we have in public safety staffing and perhaps take advantage of some of the currently awarded or potential future grants that could be out there for staffing. That was the primary reason why I introduced this amendment. And I will just again reiterate that I'm happy to, if it would make folks more comfortable, and frankly, based on this discussion, I would feel more comfortable if we change the dollar figure to something like 150,000 or 160,000 instead of 200,000.
I'll second 150,000.
Okay.
I mean, in that case, can I just?
What you're doing?
Well, he didn't make an amendment, so. Are
Can I
you
make
making
an
the
amendment
amendment,
to
or do
my
you
own
want?
amendment?
Yeah, can you amend your own amendment?
Okay, then I'm going to amend my own amendment to reduce the replacement fund in 2027 to $150,000 from $200,000 as written in the mayor's proposed CIP.
Second.
Can I ask if I'm allowed? Are we allowed to amend moving the PV system and generator to debt financing as part of this process, or does that need to be done separately?
I don't know, we should ask Misty. We've never done that. Where's Misty?
So we can do whatever you would like.
Okay. But
It's probably easier just to put the 150 and we'll figure it out later, but if you want to be very direct about what you want it to be, we can make that specificity also now.
It's fine. We'll do 150, yeah.
so you are freeing up only 50,000.
Correct.
Second.
I'm doing my part, Madam Mayor.
I would hope that it would go down further than that.
Yeah, me too.
But like, it would be better to preserve like a levy capacity and in case it is higher than 50,000, right? Like if it ends up being 100,000 and we don't have that capacity and we use that for something else, that's actually quite bad. That is the definition of a bad structural deficit versus feels confident that we can reduce it by 50,000 if we plan to do that, those two items to debt financing. So that feels like a very safe amount, but maybe it'll be lower.
I think also the intention, like, by voting for this, I don't really intend this to be like 150 and then get adjusted for inflation. I would expect it's 150 next year, and then we will have a full set of equipment in which we will calculate the actual amount going forward for like future years.
Okay, so everyone is on the same page here? Okay, roll call, please.
So they need to vote on the amendment.
Oh.
Correct. This is roll call on the amendment to reduce the dollar amount. Alder
Can we
Dancer Jr.
do voice vote for that or no?
Yeah, they're doing roll call.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herps. Aye. Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Amendment is carried.
So now you can vote on it.
So as amended, okay.
Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye, I'm laughing at Micah, I'm sorry.
Alder Gerhart. Aye. Alder Herps. Aye. Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Motion carried as amended.
I move amendment number 8, project 3427 pedestrian and bike system improvements, add sidewalks in recommended areas.
Second.
This amendment is specifically, and our transportation engineer did a great memo on this. The amount is very specific because it is tied to a very particular project on Sherrill Drive. A particular resident reached out, and she actually emailed the council today with her concerns. This is a stretch between Fish Hatchery Road and Richardson, I believe, or not quite to Richardson. Charleston on Fish Hatchery Road, where there is no sidewalk. It also crosses two Fitchburg parks, so Tower Hill Park and McKee Farms Park cross that. And there's a ton of traffic, pedestrian traffic on that stretch, especially, I mean, you think about like Birdie Derby happens, and all those people are parking and walking down that direction. Cars will line the streets for McKee Farms Park events, and people are walking in the street because there is no sidewalk on either side of the road. She is very nervous with young children about people getting hit. She's seen close calls. There have been a couple of accidents, which Ross laid out in the memo. Fortunately, not more than that, but again, close calls cannot be quantified except in those anecdotal things. And so the unique thing about this stretch of sidewalk in particular is because it's mostly city of Fitchburg property, there's only 8 residences that are affected. Now, I will make the stipulation that 75% of those residences, or 8 of them, have to agree to put in the sidewalk through a petition, which this resident is working on with our help.
It's 19 of the 25.
Oh, what, really?
Yeah, so Ross did clarify, there was a lot of back and forth on this, and I had asked, because Ross said that because it's identified in the bike and ped plan, the full construction cost would be borne by the city.
Whoa.
And I asked, well, what about replacement costs 20 to 40 years from now? And he said, oh, right. So we actually need, the graphic here that's on the screen, we actually need 19 of the 25 property owners to sign on.
Okay, well, so this might actually resolve itself by this failing through an inability to get 75% of the signatures. But that being said, this effort is underway.
It's a good intention.
If it does pass, if we are able to get the residents on board, it seems wild to not move forward with the project in the near term, which is why I wanted to get this in the CIP this round, even though that process has not been finalized yet. Obviously, if that process fails, this will not be included in the budget. This is allocated the property tax levy. I don't know that I love that either.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Well, I'll clarify. I don't love it. So I don't know if we can debt finance this. I think that could be potentially an appropriate use of debt, but if not, identifying a different source of funding would be appropriate. But I think that could happen in the budget process. All that is to say, if this does move forward, I think it'd be great to try to get it done in 2027 if feasible.
I think it's a great idea because I drive that corridor. I live close, and there is a safety issue when kids are in the park, cars, people are speeding because it's a wide street. My only concern for the 2027 budget is how we're going to fund this because it's $180,000 in the tax levy, the money that I don't have right now.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I think if we can find other sources of. Can we find grants to do that with safe streets or whatever it is? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how quickly that grant cycle would allow this project to proceed if it were to be selected.
Yeah.
And I mean, there could be other sources. There is the traffic calming Vision Zero money. That could potentially, I suppose, if the council wanted to utilize that, could be an option. Certainly defer to Misty if she has any thoughts on.
It has to be done in 27?
It doesn't.
Okay.
We could bump it to 28.
Okay.
It's not there now, so
Dave.
Just comment, the residents, the sidewalk goes in front of their house, they have to shovel it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the. It's not the city's, they have to shovel it, and if they don't, Karen across the street will call in and want them ticketed, so you got to remember that part. I face this in my neighborhood, new people come in, well, where's my sidewalk? And I said, you can have a sidewalk, you guys want to pay for it and you want to shovel it, but don't ask the city to, if you want a sidewalk, there are neighborhoods that have existing sidewalks. I don't mean to be blunt on it, but, it's not the, it's not the end all. I certainly don't want to minimize safety, but.
I think the neighbor are asking for the sidewalk, isn't it?
Well, I have a note from one woman, so.
Well, and 75% have to agree.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
if they don't agree, then that's that.
Yeah. Okay. Deal, and that's it.
Just as a practical matter, it looks like, I'm just eyeballing this, but probably 40% of the length of that sidewalk is City of Fitchburg property.
Okay.
When it comes to shoveling snow, would we really ride down the road and then jump on the sidewalk and then ride down the road and then jump back on the sidewalk, or would the city just run the length of the sidewalk?
We would not run the length of the sidewalk. I think that would be a very concerning precedent. And not only that, I would envision that if we happen to venture off the sidewalk into the person's yard by any sort of small stretch, that we could also get complaints about needing to repair said damage to their yard.
Oh, yeah. It can happen. Yeah. Okay, but, I think it's a good idea to have it in the CAP.
Yeah, and I mean, if it.
I don't know.
Again, I don't know the funding sources. That's the problem. Is there is money that exists, and it's a one-time cost. Obviously, I mean, knowing that, of course, we have to replace the sidewalk in the future. But I just don't want it to go another year without us even having it in the plan.
Yeah.
So if the solution is to bump it to 2028, we could do that and try to identify the funding source.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Okay. The two things had to happen. The 75% of the neighbor agreed to do that, and if we have the money in the budget.
Are we obligated to, if the neighbors get this petition in, the next 6 months, are we obligated to do it within a specific window, or could we do it in 5 or 10 years, or whenever we want? Basically?
I don't think the resolution specifies a time window.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
I move to amend to move this CIP project to start in 2028.
Second.
Okay.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, no.
Because this just came up on when I was talking about Schumann, and they're also complaining. I mean, that is also a highly pedestrian traffic street, and we told them the same thing, like you have to get 75%. I was also unaware that if it's in the bike and ped plan as the main route, that we just cover the cost of it. Do we know? I mean, this is not a question I'm expecting an answer to, but like, do we know if there's all of a sudden mass sentiment and change in sidewalks in this city? Like what we would potentially, I mean, obviously we have to allocate the money for it, but like, I don't know how many of those roads there are that are in the bike plan.
I will say that the Transportation Transit Committee's been discussing the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan that we got a grant to do, and I do believe that consideration of sidewalks and priority areas would likely be one of the solutions that would be identified in that plan. So hopefully there's more clarity on that in the future.
Cool.
Okay, roll call, please.
So this is on the amendment?
Yeah,
to move it to the 2028 CIP. Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herps. Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Amendment is carried.
As amended.
Roll call on motion as amended. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herps.
Nay.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. I would like the council to amend the agenda to move amendment 14 now, because we have a person in the audience.
I'll move
Jeff?
to move amendment number 14 to now in the order.
Second.
I'll second. Oh.
Okay. Jeff, do you want to come to the microphone? Because you are in support of the...
We have to vote
Yeah,
on.
so we
Oh,
need to
sorry.
vote on that, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Ask for a vote.
Aye.
Not moving the agenda.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor of moving item 14 to the top of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay.
Me first. Okay.
Okay. Jeff, you have 3 minutes.
Yep, I'm just here to discuss the basketball hoops that Micah and Jake were helping our community out with over in Seminole Forest. Last year we had 2 completely fine basketball hoops and a really bad court. In the springtime of 2024, we had both hoops taken down, the court expanded, and 1 hoop put up. And we have a community and neighborhood with growing amounts of kids and adults that use the hoop. And we thought another hoop was going to be coming. I emailed the Parks Department, emailed the alders. No, we're not putting up any more hoops. We have a really nice hoop. Don't get me wrong, it's a really nice hoop, and a really nice court. It just looks kind of awkward because it's a really long court with 1 hoop. And we're not asking for any freebies or anything like that. We just want to fundraise to try to get another hoop up. We have a lot of adults, teenagers, kids that sit there and wait to try to get on the court. And obviously, the bigger kids, teenagers, they like taking up the court, bring down the hoops, dunking, things like that, where the little kids can't get on. And I have to watch the little kids wait to try to get on the court. And I grew up on the north side of Madison where, if you're not busy doing sports or anything outside, you're probably getting in trouble. And to nip that in the butt, put in hoops, put in courts, put in things for kids to do. It's the easiest way to keep the kids out of trouble where I grew up. So I'm just here to discuss that. It's not going to be a burden on the budget. We're willing to fundraise. We just want the okay to do it.
Okay, thank you. And also I want to mention that we received a couple of emails this afternoon in support of this, and also 2 emails against this. Okay, so...
Could I say? Oh.
Could I just
Okay.
introduce this?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So,
It's your amendment.
So they brought this up, the neighbors in the area. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll move approval of amendment 14 for new basketball courts for basketball court adjustments in Seminole Glen Park.
Second.
Okay.
Now I explain it.
Yeah, now you're going to.
I'm still learning, sorry. Like Jeff said, the second hoop was removed, and then I was contacted. The neighbors had about 180 people sign a petition for a second basketball hoop. And then I also connected with the Neighborhood Association Board, and they agreed to partially fund this project. And then in connecting with Eric, he said there's a couple different options for how they could make this adjustment. One would be because Seminole Glen is considered a neighborhood park, the city policy standard is to have just a half basketball court with one hoop. And the city staff did not feel comfortable deviating from that policy, but that's something that we have as a prerogative as the council. So one of the options would be to put a second hoop on the other side of that court, which would run about $6,000. And then the other option would be to go in compliance with city policy and expand the court out and add a second hoop on the other end of the court. I'm told that's how basketball works. And that would be about $20,000. And then the neighborhood association agreed to cover up to $5,000 of the project. So those are the different options, and I guess I would let the council folks, council members, weigh in on those options as well.
I want to clarify something because I met with Eric this afternoon, and he told me that because of if we want to expand the court, we had to do it from east to west. We cannot do it from the way there is now because there is no space.
Yeah.
So that one is a consideration to the council. If we go that route, it's going to be more costly and it's going to take longer to do it. So I think the recommendation number 2 is the best way to go to install, this is what he mentioned, to install the hoop in the other side and move forward. To install the second hoop on
So
it.
let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So if we can't go from north to south, we're going from east to west. Are you saying that you're going to keep the current?
No, you need to,
Hold on.
The one hoop is on the south side of the half court, so it would have to get moved to the east side of the court, and then the court would get expanded.
So that's
to
what
the
I'm
west.
asking. So if we're not going from north to south and we're going from east to west, will the east to west be 96 feet?
I don't know those
Yeah.
details.
Yes?
I don't know. He knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm fine with that. All right.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that's what
But that one is going to be the more expensive, and I don't know when we are going to do it
So,
because of the
can
staff
I-
capacity and all of that.
Can I clarify that though? Because that's identified in this staff memo already, that it's going to move to east-west. So I assume that this anticipated cost in here is reflective of moving to east-west.
My understanding is that the $20,000 figure
It's going to cost
is
that.
for
I
yeah.
would say.
And
Sure.
I should also say, so I know Seminole Glen's a neighborhood park.
Oh, Eric
It's-
is here. Okay, Eric, can you go forward with?
yeah,
Okay,
it's
can
the
you explain
largest neighborhood park.
your memo? Yeah, he's there. I forgot that he was there.
Yes, so I can provide some clarification. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice. The current orientation of the half courts with the single hoop is north-south running. If we are to expand to a full court, we have spacing issues with the existing multi-use trail, a tree on the south side, and the existing park shelter. So if we are to go to a full court with 2 hoops being 84 by 50 feet, it would necessitate an east and west running orientation. So if you were to do that, that would necessitate moving the existing hoop, putting it on the east side, and then installing an additional hoop on the west side, and thus expanding the court. Does that provide clarification?
Yeah, but why 84 and not 96, like a true full court?
That's consistent with some of the other courts that we have is 84 by 50. I mean, that can easily be amended if it is proposed to be a full court. That size can change. We would have the space to accommodate that then.
So the one that is in McKee Farm Park is 86?
I can't confirm. I just know we have existing ones that are 84 by 50. I can't speak off the top of my mind right now.
The difference is like how far the 3-point line is away from the goalpost, which, and now like a regulation is 96 feet. So if you want to play like high school or down rules, this court will work.
Okay.
But if we're playing like the current collegiate line or NBA line, it's a little
Well, we're
further
not
away.
playing there.
Donald played overseas ball, so he's speaking on authority here.
Okay. A question too, because he's going to have the capacity to do this in 27. You know, the expansion and all of that. Can you be brutally honest and tell us if you're going to be able to do this?
I'm not quite sure because I'm not sure what the funding source would be for that full project of the $20-some thousand. In talking with Zach, our right-of-way engineer, it's something that could be coupled with existing paving contracts and projects that are going forward. But I can try for 2027, but I wouldn't know exactly where the funding source would be for that difference.
Okay.
So we just redid this court. Is that what happened? Like,
yeah, it was 2024.
Okay, so
and we remove one.
would we be?
But expanded the court.
Would
Yeah,
we be
you're not repaving the part
would
that's
be
already
completely
paved.
like removing this court, or you just like add onto it?
Just add in to
yeah.
make it longer, so
Okay.
it's a full court.
So you're not like
add on. It would be adding on and then an overlay over the top, so there's not a seam between the full court.
okay, so that's doable.
I think I saw Chad pulling up the map. Can we actually get a visual of this so we can see it in real time, what it is and what it would look like?
This also seems like a very large park. I don't know how the rest of the space is used, but are there park fees for Stoner Prairie that still exist? Could we just put a new full-size court in this park somewhere and use park fees?
I don't know, Misty's on the...
I would defer to Misty for that question.
Because it looks like a huge park. I haven't been here in a while, so like...
Yeah, it's the fourth largest in the whole city, I think.
Because if it's a new facility, my understanding is that we could use park impact fees. Let's just put a new court and then use that as the funding source.
I don't know if it is.
I'd have to look up for Seminole Forest, the developments that would be right around this park. Stoner Prairie, that park fee money is going towards the North Stoner Prairie Park instead. I don't know that they would go to Seminole Glen for that. So we have to make sure the money that we're using is from a development where the people will use that amenity as well.
And also we are planning to put in a basketball court in that park too. We haven't done yet.
Okay.
Also, to emphasize, like the neighborhood association has fully committed with the neighborhood association funds to paying for $5,000 of this. So that's 25% of the project.
Can I ask Eric, I think ideally we would be able to, just tack this on to an existing paving project and have them do it then. If we receive the funds from the neighborhood and move forward with that, can we install the basketball hoop immediately on the east side where it would be anyway, and then move forward with the expansion as capacity allows?
I don't believe we'd be able to add the second. We'd be able to swap one to the east side. That is correct. Regarding the installation of the additional one, we would have to wait until after the paving is complete. Does that answer the question?
No, I guess I'm asking, can we add, there's going to be one on the east side of the court added at some point if the project is approved. Can we just add that, buy a new one, add it there, leave the one on the north side of the court for the time being, and then when we repave the repave the area, move the one on the north side to the west side? So
Eric, I'll hop in on this one.
I would think. Yeah, go ahead, Chad.
I think the concern that I would have is if there's a hoop in the way for the paving, as Eric mentioned, they have to do a full court overlay if they're expanding the court in order to eliminate any seams in the court. So I don't know if that would create a bit of an obstacle for the paving crew.
And if we move the court, like if we put that there before they pave it, they be planting grass, like or whatever is currently there until they pave the. If they put the new court.
Okay.
Can I just ask a clarifying question on this, and
Me
this may
too.
be directed towards our resident here. What's the preferred solution?
Yeah,
Is the preferred solution just adding a second basketball hoop back into the existing redone court?
Yes, but if you guys are willing to put a new court, I'll take that.
Yeah. Thank you for being honest and clarifying. So it sounds like
Let's do with option 2.
adding the second hoop is a perfectly acceptable
Remember, there was
solution.
2 hoops there before.
Yeah,
Correct,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
And I think this is. Thank you for saying that because I was planning to say to stop this nonsense and move forward. And I think I know, but if we want to provide the second hoop right now, okay, I think the best option, and this is what they want. They want a second hoop. Is option 2.
Gotcha. Can we have like non-breakaway hoops?
Like what?
So it's like where
What is that?
so like when people like if they like dunk or they're hanging on the rims,
Yeah.
you know how like when you watch basketball they bend and they can break them. Normally when you're outside they have the non-breakaway ones, so like that doesn't happen. You can't break them. They can jump and hang all they want.
Yeah, I don't know.
We could price out a few options regarding the available hoops.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but it's if the neighbor want a second hoop in the existing court, I think we have the solution in front of us on page 78. And let's move on. Okay. Are you agree with that? I don't know for the people that they put the amendment.
Does this have to be an amendment then, because it's written for the 20,000? Okay. And then I guess I would just also add that the neighborhood association, the 5,000 was committed for if there was the full expansion. So I would have to talk to the board to see if they were still willing to commit that much just for a hoop, or if it would just be half or something.
Is the hoop,
But they are gonna.
I don't know from where. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll amend this amendment to the addition of another hoop on the half court.
Oh.
And $6,000.
And $6,000.
It's option 2 on the memo.
Misty would like to speak.
Oh, yeah? Okay, go ahead, Misty.
Thank you. So based on the dollar amount we're talking about now, this is not a capital project. So this wouldn't be a CIP project at the $6,000 amount. The best process would be that we withdraw this from the CIP conversation and we talk about it during the operating budget instead. Alternatively, if you wanted to make the motion now, it would also be appropriate to move it out of the capital section and put it in the operating section instead of the project.
But I think if we, I don't know, I want to understand this. We approve this. I think it's very easy to buy this in this year and to install it this year.
Madam Mayor, am I understanding correctly that right now what we're proposing is to put 2 hoops on a half court? Why would you do that?
Does that happen anywhere else in the city?
That was the previous state of the court before.
And that's what neighbors want?
Yeah.
I guess, does that exist anywhere else in the city?
I don't know.
And that way for 30 years.
The neighbors would prefer a
years.
full-size court, but
Okay.
if they're only going to give one hoop, then obviously we're going to take what we can get. The neighbors feel kind of, bait and switched on this because nobody gave us any warning, and all of a sudden there's one hoop there when there's 2 before with the bigger court, and then you have upset neighbors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to put 2 hoops on a half court.
So to clarify, what was there had 2 hoops and a smaller court. When it was replaced, the court was enlarged, but only 1 hoop came back. So this actually would have more court space with 2 hoops than what it previously had before the remodel, if you will. And to build upon what Misty is saying, if you go with just the option to add a hoop, that would not be a capital expenditure based upon dollar amount. That would be an operating budget expense that could be done either through the 2027 budget, or if this council had a desire and staff had the capacity to add it for 26, you could do a budget amendment for the operating budget.
So if we voted on this full court one and it failed, that could still be brought with just the hoop option to the operating budget? Okay, I guess I would suggest maybe we do that then.
Oh, we need to extend the meeting.
I'll make a motion to extend this meeting by 30 minutes.
Second.
All those in favor of extending the meeting by 30 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay.
Mayor?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that you're asking for just a second hoop, and but it seems like there is desire for more court space, and I would support more court space
Okay.
personally. So I'm just stating my opinion on the record so that we don't have to turn this into a
Okay.
budget amendment.
So I think we vote on this, and then however the vote goes.
Yeah, leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mike, my amendment is with the full court.
Okay. Okay, so there is the original,
We're voting on the original
we are
amendment.
voting. Roll call, please.
Oh, well, hold on a
No,
second.
no, no,
Well, I don't know. So we're essentially choosing option 3, which is listed as 22,000, and the amendment is for 20,000. Does that bother us?
Oh, there is a difference between the memo and the amendment. Potato, 2000.
Yeah, let's just fix it.
Because this is an
Let's fix it in the
estimate. We
budget.
don't know how much it's gonna, no exceed to, I don't know.
10% contingency.
Okay. Okay, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hurt.
Nay.
Alder Jutser.
Aye.
Alder Latase.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Regsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay.
Thank you
Jeff.
for your advocacy on this too, and for pushing us on this. So.
Oh, but you also want to talk in,
I don't need to talk about that.
no?
It's right in
You're
favor
in
of it.
support of, okay, in amendment number 9. Okay, thank you. Okay. So let's go to amendment number 9. Who is this one?
That's me. I move approval amendment number 9, CIP 3522, Osmondson Road traffic signals, correct future project cost.
Second.
This is just, it was called out in this amendment that Lacey and Osmondson would qualify in 2036 for a traffic signal, but there was no allocation in the budget for it. So I just want to put it in there for proper record keeping. So it can always get moved back if we don't meet warrants in future years, but I think it should be in there if it's called out in the text of the amendment.
Okay, discussion. Logan.
One sentence. I just wanted to say that traffic signals are clearly very expensive. I've had some questions about why not in other parts of District 3, for example, the Highway 14 and Lacey interchange. And this is why we tried to work on those with the traffic impact analyses from new development so that those costs are borne by the developers and we don't have to add millions more of projects like this to the CIP. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question, comment?
Are we saying this is going to be for sure a signalized intersection, or that's a relatively large intersection right now? I think we could probably do a roundabout, which is somewhat cheaper.
That would be my intention, but I think this is just, this would be a placeholder for when it meets warrants.
Okay.
We'll move forward with something. Yeah.
That's the key is meets warrants.
Okay. So, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hurt.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Latase.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Regsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Amendment number 10.
Okay, I will introduce Amendment 10 to amend project number 4802 Irish Lane Water Main.
Second.
This amendment delays the water main portion of the larger Irish Lane redesign, reconstruction from 28 designed in 2029 construction to 1 year later, 29 design, 30 construction, to align with other components of the Irish Lane project, the resurfacing and the sewer extension. So it's essentially a clerical to get everything in line in 1 year.
Okay. Question, comment?
Do we still have Tim online? Does he have any commentary on this? I'd like to hear from
Is
the.
Tim online?
Tim is still online. Yeah.
Okay, Tim.
No additional comment.
So you're okay with this?
Yeah, it's aligning the sewer with the roadway project,
Okay.
and now the water will be aligned with those two. So
Perfect.
Okay. So any other question, comment? Here none. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado. Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Amendment number 11.
I move approval amendment number 11, CIP 6273, Neighborhood Hub Phase 2, removal of cost.
Second.
This is just, the CIP was reduced to zero, but there were still line items in several of the cost items. So this is just removing the planning, land acquisition, borrowing costs from this.
Okay. Any question, comments? Here none. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. So amendment number 12.
I will move approval of amendment number 12 for project 6307, city campus facilities remodel, reduce cost from 12 million to 10 million.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay. What is this?
Yep, so this amendment would reduce the total project cost for the larger city campus facilities remodel from 12 million to 10 million. I sent an email with some more justification for why I felt this was a reasonable amendment. I think it balances our short and long-term space needs while also trying to minimize the impacts to residents who have already been responsible for bearing the cost of a new police services facility, 2 new fire stations. Pastahochi was new but paid for with park fees, so not directly relevant. But if you're looking at it from the public standpoint, we're spending a lot on new and renovated facilities. The folks I've talked to have not been super excited about the need to, or whether we spend any money on this, and questioning some of the costs. And I think I've been pretty skeptical of it myself. Recognizing that this does include a lot of elements that are needed and other projects that have since been folded in, I felt $10 million was still a reasonable amount to achieve our space needs while identifying some other areas that we could maybe scale back on. For example, the flex room at the end of this hallway, the 2 balconies and conference spaces above this main hallway along this is the second floor technically of the building, some of the landscaping items. And then when I looked at the architecture design review for going to Plan Commission in August, I did a count of how many times the word future appeared on a workspace to ensure that we had enough capacity if we went this route. And based on the current plans, I counted 35 future additional workspaces, which based on our current levy limit constraints, it would be great if we could add 35 more staff. I'm sure we have the work for them, but I don't foresee that happening in the next 10 to 15 years. So those spaces could be used in the short and medium and potentially even the long term as some of those conference spaces or the flex space that I've identified could be removed. 10 million is my best estimate, but I think, like I said, I think this still achieves our goals while recognizing or minimizing the impact to our community.
Okay. Questions, comments? Do we have some memo from the staff or any comment from staff? Chad?
Staff elected not to prepare a memo in regards to this. There was a rather large discussion at the Committee of the Whole and presentation, I think, in May, which indicated, at least at that time, I think Alder Reichstad was the only alder that expressed any comment related to concern with the project scope and budget. Staff certainly recognizes the cost of this, and much like the police services facility with a budget of $40 million and coming in at $31 million, staff certainly will look to do all that we can to ensure that we're not spending the full $12 million if this is what it remains, unless that is truly what's needed in order to complete the project. There are things that certainly could be optioned or removed based upon council direction, although Ragsted has identified at least his personal preference that these areas at the end of each of the hall that have been proposed to fully maximize space. If the Common Council does not want the city staff to pursue those options any longer, obviously those could be removed from the project in and of itself, or they could be bid as options as a way to reduce cost. When looking at the future space that's there, while there are future workspaces identified on the project, it is not anticipated that all the furniture will be bought at this time, largely because, again, there's no sense in having, say, 35 future workspaces outfitted at this point in time. So staff will certainly look at what makes the most sense from a furniture perspective over the next, say, 5 years to maybe in a worst case scenario 10 years versus looking at the overall generational time frame that this project is intended to cover, 30 to 50 years. As we add the staff in the future, staff, pick your number 15 through 35, we would look to incorporate the furniture as part of those staffing proposals at that point in time. So staff certainly recognizes the overall cost of this project and will continue to maximize the project with relation to the budget in order to keep it, clearly, as low as possible to accomplish the goals. So that's really the comment. And if there is some direction you want to provide in regards to flex space tonight, we can certainly take that under advisement and make adjustments to the proposed plan right now with the architect we're working with. But again, just as a reminder, in May there was a lot of affirmation from Common Council on where we were at. So we continued moving forward at that point.
Okay, any question, comments? Who has? Oh, Gabriel.
Yeah, I think the City Hall remodel, when I heard about the increased budget, that, it's a big number. But I felt comfortable moving forward for a couple of reasons. Number one, the city staff has always been a really good steward of resources, and I do believe that the hope is that this will come in under budget. And I actually don't think it's a bad idea to bid certain pieces out that we think are optional as options. I think that's actually a great idea that we should do if we didn't already plan to do that. But overall, this building, that presentation, which if anyone's interested in learning more, the presentation at Committee of the Whole where we talk about the City Hall renovation, I think is really informative because it shows about how you can't just renovate one small section. There's a cascading effect to changing these buildings, and you have to this building is, over, what is it, we more than 30 years old now?
It's just about 30 years.
About 30 years old, yeah. And this city, Fitchburg's a massive community. We could easily double in size in the future. We don't know where the city is going, and I don't know that will happen or that we're headed that direction, but I do think that we need a better facility for our city staff. I don't know what that will cost. I hope it costs less than $12 million. At this point, I don't feel the need to reduce the budget, but I think this conversation is good because I think it directs staff that it reinforces that creating a budget that really reflects the minimum needed in order to make a good space that'll work, I think is clear. But at this point, I'd prefer it to stay the same.
Okay, anyone else? Bill.
I'll just echo my fellow D2 alders comments here. That's largely what I was going to say. Also, I guess, do we have an idea, the current 12 million figure, does that feel super aggressive or very conservative? What's your gut say?
It feels conservative. As we've talked, there have been a few other projects that have been included into this. Senior Center kitchen, some improvements at the community center, and then, of course, some exterior improvements and repairs in certain instances. We are currently using a 25% contingency in this project just because we are still early on into it and there were some uncertainties. So I do, that is helping provide a conservative project budget here at $12 million. So again, staff certainly is going to be stewards of the taxpayer dollar and ensure that even if this remains at $12 million, if $12 million is not needed, we're not going to just spend it because it's there.
Mike?
Our normal contingency is 10.
Usually the contingency goes down as the project gets further refined and designed. We're anticipating, I think this coming week, having 30% drawings, which again will start to help refine that number. And then, we're hoping to go out to bid later this year. So over the next several months, we'll be able to refine this much more closely. So I think when we went into the police facility project, I think we were at 15% contingency, if my memory serves.
Yeah, and and then we decreased.
Yeah, and then as it was further refined, it was decreased.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, even going from 25 to 15, that's $1 million right there. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just without specific, I'm not comfortable moving forward with this without specific cuts. Like, this is what we were cutting for this amount of money. I totally agree 100% that I think bidding certain things as alternates is a great idea as well. So I think that would be, I'd love to see that when it comes forward, just to say, like, this is what we have, this is what we're prioritizing, this is what staff really wants versus would be nice to have. So I think that'd be great. So
I think it's clear from the conversation that in particular these two open ends at the both ends of the main hallway here that were anticipated to try to fill those voids with additional meeting space. That clearly seems to be something that should be optioned in the bid process based upon what folks are kind of indicating here. So we can at least certainly pull that as a specific option and cost associated with that, which would give the Common Council, as this project gets closer to full design, the ability and bid, the ability to remove that if you didn't feel that was worthwhile expenditure. We can certainly look at other things as well. Obviously, there's an exterior patio, much in alignment with the senior center patio and the forthcoming patio with the police services facility. That could potentially be something that's looked at as an option in the bid as well. So we can work with the design team to identify those sorts of things that could be options when it goes out for bid.
Okay. Any other question, comment? Okay, here none. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Nay.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jutser.
Nay.
Alder Latase.
nay.
Alder Lepper.
Nay.
Alder Maldonado.
Nay.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion failed.
Okay, thank you. So where we are now? 13, 14, 15. Okay.
I will move approval of amendment number 15, creating a new B-cycle sharing stations.
Second.
So there's a couple functions of this, but the primary is, this was a discussion we had with the YMCA going in on McKee Road. They're obviously a nonprofit entity that might have a difficult time investing in a B-cycle station, but obviously seems like a pretty great place for a B-cycle station, especially since it's on the bike path. It's going to be a destination. Maybe somebody would take their B-cycle from somewhere far away and come to that YMCA using it. So the concept and the reason that this is $30,000 in here is to invest in a B-cycle station at the YMCA, putting in 2028 since the facility won't be complete until then. I also think that creating a B-cycle project is important broadly because we may eventually need to invest in the current B-cycle facility network within our city, and having a CIP project related to B-cycles is probably a prudent thing to do at this point in time. But yeah, I put it out in 2028. Obviously the funding for it is uncertain, but it's aligned that way for the YMCA project.
All right, 2028. Oh, yes, okay.
Have we paid for B-cycle stations on any non-city properties in the past?
I don't actually know how they were paid for. I think it was grant funding.
Yeah, there was a state grant to fund the majority of them.
The ones that are on city property, but we've never, as a city, funded ones that, well, the YMCA is not city property, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've never funded them for non-city campus buildings?
I don't believe we've ever used city funds
City fund, yeah.
to pay for them, no.
Okay.
Actually, who paid that? It was,
There was
Yeah,
grant
private.
funding,
Grant from the
as
state.
Alder
Some
Maldonado indicated,
corporate
and then there was
donations.
also some funding from CETA, I believe the room tax
okay.
was
Oh, yeah, yeah.
utilized.
tax,
Maybe, was
okay.
it 50,000, Misty, I think, initially of CETA-related money?
okay,
Can I,
Something like that, maybe a little less than that.
okay. Okay,
But it was very
David,
clear at the time that it was just for the capital
Okay.
piece.
let's take finish.
just for my own clarity, like, is B-Cycle a for-profit company? Do they get money for people using the B-Cycles?
Yes.
Okay. And then they don't pay for any of the stations that are put out?
What we are, the 30,000 is for the, is for
Dock.
what?
It's for the installation of the station, yeah, the dock.
The
That would-
dock, okay, not the
30,000, that amount would pay for a 6-dock, 3-bike station.
Okay. Okay, David, and then you, Joe, because he.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
There's a station 2 blocks from there, Barriques, that has a lot of bikes. There's one at the Boys and Girls Club that's a little farther, but it's not, it's not much more than a quarter mile from there. If the bikes aren't used, we have stations there, and we probably have enough bikes at other places. We could just put in the station and transfer bikes, is what I think.
So what you're saying that we don't need it there? Because there is one in the
There's 2
Mackenzie?
there close. If you guys insist there's one there, just put in the station and we can move a couple bikes from, there's a bunch of them, there's one in Williamsburg, there's one at the Boys and Girls Club, there's one at Barriques. And I think there's enough bikes, e-bikes, that we could put a couple there and just have the station.
Without the bikes?
Yes.
Okay, Joe.
I support the amendment, but with the recommendation that we potentially reach out to the Y to see if they can get like one of their donors to cover it as they're developing the building. Because I feel like if they're building this gigantic facility, like $30K would be a drop in the bucket for them. It'll also be a good PR look for them to be able to like put it in as well. So that's just my recommendation as we engage. But otherwise, I support the CIP amendment.
Okay. Micah and Logan.
I'll be quick. I have a lot of questions about the long-term viability of B-Cycle funding and how that is going to work. But given that this is 2028 and that I think this, if we do continue with B-Cycle, it's a great location for it, I think it's fine.
I agree, I have concerns too.
Do we know like the current usage of our B-Cycle riders? This right there. Oh, I'm sorry.
We do have that. It has been shared with Phil Groupie, our sustainability coordinator, who's kind of taking the lead on
I see it, my
B-Cycle.
bad. Yep.
And that was actually the point I was going to raise, so thanks for use a different sports ball.
Where is that information?
This was presented to TTC back in April, and I can email this.
Can you share that
Yes.
with us? Okay.
And I'm supportive of this amendment. I will vote for it because I think this is a great location for B-Cycle. I also wanted to point out, I think if funding is an issue, especially the capital on the front end, I'd be interested in exploring whether we could move one of the existing stations that's low utilized. For example, in 2025, the B-Cycle data that we have says there were a total of 39 checkouts from the senior center, which is 0.14 checkouts per day. So that combined with the senior center had 75. So between the two that are on both sides of that building, we're just over 100, which even combined is the lowest of the entire city network, other than the Rusty V, which was installed in September. So we only had 3 months of data. So I think this one would be much more utilized. which is why I would support moving forward. But if there's an option to move an existing, very low utilized dock there, I think that would be the best course.
Okay, so because we have 6 minutes, okay? Okay, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Nay.
Alder Jutser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Nay.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. So now, where we are? The main motion. Okay. So, so all those in favor of I need to do roll call. Oh. Okay. So this is what I need to say? Okay. Sorry. So roll call vote on main motion as amended adopting 2026 capital improvement plan. Sorry, I am sleepy.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Dancer Jr.
Aye.
Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Hertz.
Aye.
Alder Jutser.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Maldonado.
Aye.
Alder Reichstad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. So we have Alder District report, and there are 5 minutes left, so it means that you have...
Next meeting.
Okay, you want to skip? Okay, let's skip. Okay.
I'm gonna have so much to share.
Okay, so...
You should probably vote on that since it's been agenda.
I move to remove the Alder updates and postpone them till our next meeting.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of postponing the Alder District report to the next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion
Nay.
carried. Okay. Next, we are moving to announcement. Next
Push-ups for
common
him.
council
He's
meeting
gotta do
will be
push-ups.
August 11, 2026. And next committee of the whole meeting is August 26, 2026. I don't know what is the topic.
We will definitely be talking about the budget, but
Okay.
the second topic is under
Okay.
discussion. I also, if anyone missed the CIP from last week, I know it's not usually, we have no committee of the whole, sorry. We have no committee of the whole tomorrow. It was last week because
Yeah.
it was a weird month with the days. But if anyone missed it, which I know a couple people did, please, I would recommend you watch it. It was the fire department update, but then the police did a deep dive into their technology changes. And I think it's very worth seeing before we see that come in front of us for budget. Thanks.
Thank you. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourning at 10:25. Thank you.